We'll see if I can go. We'll see if I can do some guest requests. I've reset the app. I've forced. I'm not a bot. What the fuck that was? We're gonna try to reset, or we've tried to reset everything. I don't know what else to do if it doesn't work this time. So, if anybody wants to have a conversation about the aforementioned title here, send in a guest request. We'll try to have a conversation. Why do I have my Cash App? Because I'm a fucking content creator, man. I'm not selling anything here, though. You're not paying a subscription. I'm not advertising anything. If you like my content, you can donate. If you don't, then you don't have to donate. If you don't like my content, you don't even have to be here watching. You can go away. Plenty of people make money doing content, man. Don't give me no shit for it unless you're going to go fuck with Joe Rogan, too. All right, we have a guest request. Let's see if this works. It hasn't been all night.
Yes, hello, sir. You are absolutely wrong. God does exist. I can prove it.
Okay, prove it.
All right. How'd you get here?
I was born.
Exactly.
That's not evidence.
Okay, where did the Big Bang come from?
That's evidence that my parents fucked. Has nothing to do with God.
If you can explain something, that means God did it. Everybody knows that.
No, nobody knows that. People assert it and assume it, but nobody knows it.
We must, yes, like, I'll give you a good example. If you don't know how the Big Bang occurred, it means God did it.
No, it doesn't. It means we don't know. Just because we don't know something doesn't mean
you go, taking credit away from God.
Doesn't mean you get to assert God. This is called a God of the gaps fallacy.
You stole that from Neil deGrasse Tyson.
3,000 years ago, people said God is beyond the clouds. And then when the Wright brothers learned how to fly, God is beyond the blue pale. And then when we went into space, God must be on the outside of space and time where we can't get to him. Every single time science discovers something new, your ilk throws him someplace else that's harder to get. You move goalposts and you make assumptions without evidence.
Explain to me how Jesus turned water into wine.
I don't believe in Jesus.
Can't do it.
I don't think Jesus even existed. I have no evidence
to support of him.
Existence.
What are you talking about? He was a real person.
I have no evidence to support the existence of the biblical
Jesus. There's the Dead Sea Scrolls. There's the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So what?
How dare you?
So Spider-Man comics are evidence of Spider-Man?
Yes.
So Spider-Man exists.
See, you. Yes.
So Harry Potter's real. Any character made from any book at any time is real.
Jesus was not a character. He was a real man.
Yes, he's a character in a book. You have no evidence to support the fact that you have no evidence to support that Jesus
How
Christ
dare you?
existed.
How you are you not afraid of going to hell? Are you not afraid of
I
that?
don't believe hell exists. Why would I be afraid of something I don't believe in?
Oh, you just wait. You're gonna be in for a big surprise. You
So
better donate to
that's
Billy
what you call
Graham.
Christian love right there, is condemning other people, passing judgment. Is that how a Christian is supposed to behave?
Exactly. That's exactly how we behave. We
Well, then
colonize
I don't
and
want to
then
be anything
we
like
call it
you, because
we
I'm
call
not
it
that evil and maniacal, sick, twisted, and
how dare
disrespectful.
you?
I would rather
How
be
dare
a
you?
kind,
How dare you insult
compassionate,
my
empathetic
Christianity?
humanist than an asshole Christian.
I will douse you with holy water if you continue.
I'm going to continue. I'm going to be doing this
I will.
until I draw my
I will
last
conduct
fucking
an
breath.
exorcism live on you right now. I will exorcise your demons right now.
I don't have any demons. Demons don't exist.
Don't make me go to Deuteronomy. I'll open up the Old
Yeah,
Testament.
yeah. Please,
Don't make me.
please go to Deuteronomy and read 28 or 22, 28 through 29, where your God condones rape. Go ahead and do that.
Okay. Let me open it up. It's a big Bible. Okay. Thou okay. Well, I didn't find Deuteronomy, but I found Ecclesiastes. Thou
Well,
shalt not
do you know where
wear.
Deuteronomy is?
There's too many books. I'm not gonna look through them all.
You've never
But
read the
thou
Bible
shalt
then.
not wear a red shirt
You've
and
never, oh,
black
you're
ball
full of
cap
shit. You're just a troll.
on
Goodbye. I
TikTok.
have other
There
guests
you
that
go.
are going to be more intellectually honest and more fun to talk to. You have yourself the night you
How
deserve,
dare
my
you?
friend.
How dare you?
Oh, at least some trolls are fun. I don't know. What are you going to do, right? We're back to having connection issues again, I guess. That's a bitch. That's true. Come on, TikTok. You can do it, TikTok. I believe in you. There we
Hello.
go. How's
Hello.
it
Can you hear
going?
me? Oh, I'm
Yep.
doing quite well. How you doing, Mr. Lawless?
I am living the dream.
Living the dream? Good, good. By
Um,
the way, before we get started, I want to go on ahead and say congratulations on your 24K followers. First
ooh,
and
thank
foremost.
you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
And secondly, I'm not necessarily on your side, but I'm not necessarily on the Christian side either.
Okay. I'm
Okay?
not
And
really on a side. If I
right.
for clarification, as an atheist, it's my position isn't that there is no God. My position is that I
Correct.
am not convinced that there is a God.
Right. Okay, so I'm wanting to say this to the Christians that are on here and trolling you and whatever. Did you ever think that maybe God created atheists to show people that people can be naturally kind and reasonable and responsible without getting praise from something that they cannot see, grasp, or hold? Basically, what I mean is that if we look at it from like a humanistic standpoint, atheists are the people that are put on planet Earth in order to teach us how to be kind without the promise of a reward in the end. Therefore, helping the entire human race evolve and grow together, which is sort of along the lines of exactly how Christianity and all that stuff is supposed to go. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
Do
I
you
don't know if
believe that?
that, I don't necessarily think that Christianity is supposed to be anything other than a story.
A reference
Nothing,
guide.
nothing from that book that I gather is what I would consider a moral proclamation. I mean, like the most moral position taken in that, or most moral part of the Bible is Jesus recalling the Good Samaritan. Other than that, I don't see any of that book being even remotely moral.
Right, but the messages that Jesus were to put becoming the good Samaritan, that is crudely what like people are trying to follow. You see what I'm saying? Do
Yeah, I
you
think
agree with
I
that?
think that being the good Samaritan, helping people out, I think that's an overall human goal, but I think it existed before Christianity.
Right. Just people just wanted to use Jesus as sort of like a fear factor or like a great
Well, something like
example.
that, but I mean, it's pretty obvious after a while when you realize that. So, like in early first century Christianity, it was if you were a sinner and you died and you were judged by God, you would be annihilated. God would destroy your soul. The wage of sin was death. Um,
Right.
but then in like the fourth or fifth century, when Dante's Inferno was written and hell doctrine became a part of the church's MO, it became even more of a fear tactic. And then you get into the 1970s here in the United States, and you have pastors talking about the 4 to 14 window, where they can brainwash and indoctrinate children more effectively to keep people in the church. So, I mean, I can't find any part of this religion that is an overall benefit for our species. Everything they do is corrupt, dishonest, illogical, uh, leads to ignorance and harm and pain and death. I'm not
Right.
sure it's worth it.
I will agree with you that on that. It has definitely been weaponized. It has definitely been weaponized. However, I think that the true like underlying tones of the weaponization, because anything can be weaponized if given to the wrong people. And I think what had happened was is that the example
Well,
that Jesus
yes,
tried to put forth,
you're,
I think what they wanted to use it to try and control. But the thing
yes,
is that Jesus wasn't
you're
exactly one to control. You see what I'm
well. Hold
saying?
on. I mean, you're right that anything could potentially be weaponized into a system of control to harm people. I get it. But what we should be doing is eliminating that through harm. We should be embracing that harm. We should be trying to find ways to eliminate it, no matter what form it takes, whether that be religion or whatever. If there is an ideology or a system of thought that causes more harm to our species than it does good, we should be doing what we can to eliminate that ideology.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily agree with eliminating it per se, but rather change it to where it's actually helpful.
Well, here's the thing. We don't get our standards of morality as humans from any religion. Our standards of morality, depending on your culture and depending at the time, are usually based on uh, a rational outlook. Uh, I assume you don't want to be punched in the face. I know
Oh
damn
no,
well.
no,
Yeah, I don't want to
nobody
be
wants to be
punched in the
punched in
face
the
either, and
face.
I have no desire to inflict pain on people. I don't want to punch anybody in the face. I don't want
Right.
to. I assume you don't want to inflict harm on people and punch people in the face either.
Oh
So
goodness, no.
collectively, that's your subjective moral standard, and that's my subjective moral standard. We can come together and we can say, you know what, if we want to live cooperatively in this society together, and if we want to live comfortably and live happily, well, maybe we shouldn't be punching each other in the fucking face.
Right. I think people put too much emphasis on their religious standpoints in order to not do just what you just said.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't seem to change their behavior. Their Christianity, religion does not seem to have an overall effect on whether or not a person is moral or not. Because right now
Yeah.
in the United States, we got Peckerwoods out burning books, you know, making video in it on their phones and posting it to social media. The loudest sons of
Well,
bitches in the room right now are the most violent Christians out there.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with you on that. There have definitely like Christianity has got more bodies under its belt than pretty much any other religion.
Right. So
Would
my position is secular humanism. And
okay,
I can give you a quick definition of the actual word
please,
humanism so that you understand where exactly it is I'm coming from.
please, if you don't mind.
All right. So the Oxford definition of the word humanism, noun, an outlook or system of thought attaching prime importance to human rather than divine or supernatural matters. Humanist beliefs stress the potential value and goodness of human beings, emphasize common human needs, and seek solely rational ways of solving human problems. That, to me,
Right.
is a much better ideology than thinking that your moral compass comes from a position of authority. One that you can conveniently ignore on Monday, but then go to church on Sunday and ask for forgiveness for.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You're saying that the hypocritical standpoint in Christianity is one of the main deterrents.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand what is moral about that entire religion. I mean, I was a Christian until I was about 14, and I read the Bible, and I made it as far as Leviticus before I couldn't look at the Christian God and say, you know what, he's a good guy. I couldn't do it. I mean, if you and I were to sit down and put a puzzle together or build an engine or do
Right.
anything, we would use critical thinking skills. We would use pattern recognition skills. We would use our brains to accomplish that task.
Mm-hmm.
If the Christian God of the Old Testament was to sit down and do a puzzle, he would immediately become pissed off that two puzzle pieces he wanted to fit together didn't fit together, and he'd throw the whole puzzle in the garbage. His answer for every problem he has with humanity in the Bible is to fucking kill it.
Wrath
Global
is
floods,
being-
genociding tribes of people. And then at the end of it, he just says, fuck it. I'll kill my son myself. My son. I don't even know how to. Yeah, all he does
and
is
Jesus
kill shit.
and God, yeah. And God loved the world so much that he gave it his only begotten son. Yes.
Right. But human sacrifice isn't a fucking moral statement either.
No, but I think the fact that Jesus was down here, and even though he knew, quote unquote, that he was the King of Kings among men or whatever, but yet he still served those around him. I think what he was really trying to do was instill that a similar idea to humanism, but rather hold
But
yourself in a
it
position of
missed the
authority.
mark. And this isn't something that you would expect from an intelligent being, an all intelligent, all knowing being. This isn't solving a problem. This is just making it worse. I am not.
Yeah.
I am not a god. My imagination is limited to whatever a human's imagination is. And even I could have done a better job of getting that message out than the Christian God did. There's actually a TikTok channel dedicated to this shit. He writes these little stick figure cartoons and he retells stories in the Bible in a more moral, ethical fashion. So, like, one of the stories that he did that I duetted and I loved it was he did a Job 2.0. He rewrote in stick figure cartoon fashion the story of Job, and instead, when the devil went to God and said, "Here is Job, and you have protected him, but as soon as you drop your protections, Job will abandon you." Instead of God giving the devil permission to wipe out Job's entire fucking family, he just says, "No, devil, you are wrong," and holds out his hand, and a fruit forms inside of God's hand. And he says, "Eat of this fruit, and you will know the depths of Job's faith." And the devil eats of the fruit and realizes that nothing he does will alter Job's faith.
Right.
Nobody needed to be slaughtered. Job's life didn't need to be destroyed. And why would God need to prove anything to the devil in the first place?
Well,
this is my point. We, as a human species, already have morality because morality is an invention of us. We invented it. It's a method by which we get along. Morality is not inherent to nature. A lion eating a gazelle while it's still breathing and very much alive,
doesn't care
nature
that the
doesn't have
gazelle
a
is
sort of
still
sense of
alive.
morality.
Right.
We do. And a fucking 6-year-old has a better moral standard than the Christian God.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna necessarily disagree with you, because I do believe that some of the things that were written and reviewed that God did, I do not agree with whatsoever.
Yeah.
But at
And
the
that's
same
honesty
time,
right there. You have any idea how much I appreciate you saying that, even if you are still a believer? Do you have
well,
any
it's not that
idea how much I appreciate you saying that?
well, it's not necessarily that it's not necessarily that I am a believer, but I am a part of a believer household, and that's been a very big thing. Um, and it's not that I have any uh, animosity towards the big man upstairs, if the big man is there, which if he is, great. If he's not, then whatever. But what I am saying is that I think, to me, the whole underlying tone of God and whatever, like, if we put God on the back burner and we focus on Jesus, okay, supposedly, Jesus came around and he was trying to, like, teach people just, like, basically how to be a good person. You know what I mean? But he was doing it in a divine manner. You see what I'm saying? I feel like he was using God in the divine manner to kind of instill it. So, like, in a weird way, like, I am Christian because I want to necessarily, like, be a good person and kind of follow the example that Jesus was trying to set forth for all of us. And
But Jesus
that's
didn't.
why I'm
I'm sorry. Your interpretation of Jesus, I don't understand it. What little bit of things Jesus said that could remotely or even tangentially be related to what we would consider moral is shadowed by the rest of the shit he said. He actually says that if you love your mother or father more than you love the Lord, you are not worthy of me. If you love your son or daughter more than you love the Lord, you are not worthy of me. You have any idea how many Christians eat that shit up? Freely admit
man,
that they love their God more than they love their family members, their children.
yeah, that's an issue. That is
I've had
definitely an
Christians
issue.
in this live tell me that if God came down to earth before them and commanded that they killed somebody, they would do it.
I mean, but at the same time, like, you got to kind of feel, I'm not trying to say pity these people, but, like, they've been so indoctrinated into this lifestyle,
I know.
and that
I understand that they are
that
victims. It's a hard discussion to have because
right.
we have a problem, but we don't have anybody to blame for it. And if there's nobody there to take responsibility, it's hard to change this shit. But my issue really isn't what people believe. You're allowed to have your beliefs. I can't change people's beliefs, generally
Right.
speaking. I can have an impact or an influence on it, but my issue is Oklahoma trying to pass a bill, HB 1470 or 1740. Oh, what was it? Shit, now I can't remember. But it was hold on, it was heavily Christian in uh
Indoctrinated.
yeah, it was a Christian law, like straight up Christian as you can get.
Well, yeah, and they're supposed to have a separation between state and the church anyway.
Well, that's the problem with Christians right now. They don't understand that.
Yeah, no, the whole premise of the Christian faith is just that it's on faith. It shouldn't be forced.
It's part of the problem.
So what could we do to change that?
Vote, bitch, create content, force the subject into the public light. There are more Christians out there that are secular that believe in the freedom of religion, then there are these extremists. Evangelicals only make up 27% of the US population. Christians make up 2/3 of the US population. But the vast majority of Christians aren't evangelicals. The problem is they aren't raising their voice. They aren't talking about it. They aren't trying to stop these evangelicals from doing the shit they're doing. We have 3, because of Trump, 3 evangelical Christians on the US Supreme Court. That is Orwellianly terrifying. It is scary to think that America could become a theocracy.
Yeah, but I mean, if we going on ahead and being real, like the decline in the human decency has been going down dramatically for the last
But it
several
hasn't.
centuries.
It hasn't. No, it hasn't. I don't understand why everybody has this horrible fucking view of society. We're not falling apart. I mean, we have clickbait shit. We have a lot of political issues. Rich people are buying politicians, and everybody's throwing out these fucking clickbait things like critical race theory, and they're taking Bibles out of school. There's always some clickbaity shit that has us fighting each other because we're too fucking stupid to recognize what the real problem is, which is rich people who want a population of dumb, ignorant, uneducated, poor people that they can put to work. We are not having that many issues. It was worse in the 1990s than it is today as far as human behavior in society went.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
a
more
statistical
televised
fact.
now. Yeah, I could see that because it is definitely more televised right now.
Yeah, and social
Like
media
both.
added to it, right? With social media, everybody's opinion is being blared on a fucking foghorn. And there's just so much misinformation being spread. And I mean,
Here's
technology is going to be absolutely a part of our lives moving forward. There's nothing that's going to stop that. But we've got to, we've got to adjust to that from a societal perspective. We've got to get to a point where the technology is actually a benefit overall rather than like a misinformation missile, you know?
right.
I walk around outside. I was outside today, sitting at a gas station, and I was looking around, and nobody hated each other. People weren't killing each other in the street. Nobody's beating the fuck out of each other outside the gas station. People are holding the door for each other, being polite, saying thank you, please. Everybody was kind, cordial, and nice. And I see that every day. Every single day, that's what I see. So we have a bad habit of counting the misses and not counting the hits. We see the negative because that's the thing that draws attention. The video on YouTube that's going to get all the likes is going to be that Karen that was being racist at an apartment door.
Well, honestly, man, I was sitting here reading these comments, and it's amazing to me how many of the people are on here like attacking both you and I in this for having this discussion. When really all you're trying to say is that it's okay to have a difference of opinions as long as you're a decent human being.
That's it.
So I don't
Christians
understand.
by and large, and like you hit the nail on the head earlier. Even the people in the comments, they're trolling me with their Christian nonsense. They don't know any better. And I mean, there is one thing I'd like to call out on that front. They're hypocrites. I know damn well none of these people behave Christ-like at all. But because I'm questioning something that they held this, because they nominally go to church once every few weeks, because they pray once in a while before dinner, they somehow think they're Christian. And now they've got to defend what they've been raised with.
Right. And see, like a lot of the people on here hating you, why is it that they can't just love you for seeing it a different way. Like
Well, because they
I'm
seem to think that they have the one final truth. That's one of the big claims about religion. They have the one final truth. And if I don't listen to
but
their
isn't
one
part
final
of their
truth, if I'm not with them on that, then I'm their enemy and I'm doomed
well
for
isn't
hell.
yeah, but isn't there one final truth is that you should love no matter what, period?
Yeah, you'd
Like
think.
you should
And
love the sinner.
that's why I argue with Christianity being a force for that, because it quite obviously isn't. It never has been. That religion has just hurt people. Like it spreads ignorance and stupidity and harm, real harm. Here, nutshell. Christian child born in a Christian home is raised to believe that he is a sinner, that because he's human, he automatically brings evil into the world, and that he is irredeemable without God. How many adults do you think are walking around right now with self-loathing issues and depression and anxiety because every single adult they knew growing up as a child told them this bullshit?
Yeah, told them that they weren't good enough when really they should have been just saying you are good enough.
Yeah.
Like the whole time. That's the whole point of it is that
Well,
you
that's the
are good
problem with the
enough.
Christian religion. You are labeled a sinner and evil. That's what the religion teaches. It's
I
it's just
gosh, these comments are blowing my mind.
I'm not
They
surprised by any of them. I've been doing this for 20
I'm
years. I've heard worse than this.
well see, I'm not. I'm just recently like I used to be a what is it?
Non-denominational.
Agnostic. Yes, non-denominational. You know, I didn't necessarily believe in the big man or whatnot. But
Oh,
then my
that's
missus,
uh deist or agnostic.
yeah, agnostic, that's the word. But like, you know, my missus got into it and whatever. And the whole thing about it is that what she's trying to teach me is that even though I have a difference of opinion, she loves me not just because I am her man, but because I am also another person. I think that's really, truly, and honestly the message that I hate to keep referencing it back to you because, like you
We
said, we
want that.
just
We
focus on.
want that to be the message. I get where you're coming from, man. You want that to be the message, but I'm telling you, it isn't. Christianity has pulled the wool over people's eyeballs, man, and they've preached this goody goody two shoe shit. And some people eat it up, man. They fall for it, but it isn't the truth. This is a wolf. This is a wolf in sheep's clothing. The truth is, you're a good guy because you're a good guy. You do good things because you want to be a good person. And you don't need a fucking religion or a Jesus to tell you how to do that.
No, you do not.
I
I
want
feel
to
like
live my
everybody
life
is
knowing
born
as
with
many
innate
true things as
goodness.
possible and as few false things as possible. I want to have empathy and compassion and love for my fellow man. I want us to live in peace with some sense of equality.
Yeah, I mean, just because you believe in something doesn't mean that you're a bad person. You know, it's just what you believe in. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to go smite somebody because God told me to, because why would I harm the children or whatever of him? You see what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
everybody's so much like, yo, you need to go do this and you need to go do that and you need to accept the fact that you're trash. I mean, I'm not trash.
Nope.
I'm
I'm
just
not a
not
sinner.
as I'm just
I'm not a
not as
sinner,
good as
period.
what you would want me to be.
Yeah. I don't believe in sin at all. I believe we are barely evolved primates that make mistakes, and we're still learning how to get along. We're still learning about the nature of reality. And we only discovered evolution 160 years ago. I
Yeah.
mean, we're babies, we're infants. I mean, think about that. Our species is like 300,000 years old, and we're only now starting to get a grasp on the
Of how?
vastness of knowledge that comes with the nature of reality.
Yeah. Well, I think the one thing that I might actually just want to bring that I feel like that I bring to the table or whatever is that even though like you and I might have a difference of opinions on this, like I still want the best for you. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want nothing bad for you. And I think that is the message that all these Christians need to adopt, is that they just need to have the best for somebody. They want to have the best for somebody else, which
Well,
ties into you being like the humanism thing that you said. Like, I think that's a good way to look at it. That want, that's a good title to put on that want. So I guess what I'm saying is just thank you for like actually talking with me about this and not degrading the fact that you and I might disagree on something. And I think that's the key importance. So I appreciate that, first and
yeah,
foremost.
man. I mean, I can get along with religious people, um, provided they're genuinely good people. And this is why I have these conversations. I'm not here looking for an echo chamber. I'm here looking
Right.
to genuinely have open conversations that people can hear, consider for themselves, maybe make some people think.
Well, then
And
here's the thought that
I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Well, here's my thought for everybody that's in here. Um, if Jesus loves you, then maybe you should love your fellow man, regardless. But I'm out, and I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to the next guest request. Please connect, please connect, please connect.
Okay, did it connect?
Hey, how's it going, Ash?
Hey, so first off, I apologize in advance. I'm currently at work. I work on an ambulance. If we get a call, it might be
No
loud.
worries.
I'll head out. Also, I noticed you have the kidney failure dialysis above your claim up there up top. Okay. So you get the ports. Is it CKD or ESRD?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, okay. Firstly, I want to get out the fact that I'm not here to change your mind or any type of way. I'm here to have a discussion. There's a lot of things that like I was watching over the past 30 minutes with you and him talking about that really did kind of change my viewpoints a few times. And I'm sitting here trying to actually figure out what I want to say right now, because I went to a Christian college. I grew up in a Christian home. But I've always been very open. I don't really believe in anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an atheist. It's my position is that I am neutral.
Right.
When there is evidence of a God, I'll believe in a God. If there's evidence that there is no God, then I'll go that direction too.
Right.
But my position is complete neutrality.
Right. But I want to bring a little something to the table, with some just little scientific facts that I've learned throughout college, throughout life. Firstly, I want to ask you, you say that you're not convinced that any God claims are true. Is that any God in general or just the Christian God?
Any God in general.
Okay. And that was one thing I wanted to get out at there. So there are no actual scientific claims that Jesus was real. That was one thing that I wanted to touch up on. They have found bones from his supposed brother, his supposed, who was it? John the Baptist.
They tend to find a lot of things. The Shroud of Turin. They think that
And that has
they
been
always
proven
find
false.
something later, and it's just proven.
Right. Yeah, that Shroud of Turin was actually proven false, and it was a medieval makeup. So that was another thing. As y'all were talking, I was looking up different things, and I was seeing that. But one thing that that has always puzzled me is we learned about somewhere, I want to say in the Pacific Ocean, or is it the Red Sea, or something like that. There is a bunch of carriages and
Yeah, it's in the Red Sea. And how do you get how do you transport carriages across a body of water
Right. And see, well, you could do it on a boat,
with a boat?
but at that
And a boat
time,
sinks.
it's just really weird because they never found any boats down there. They only found the
Well,
carriages and the
they barely found any carriages either. There's a lot of that's disproven as well.
yeah. Okay, that's fair. But that's one thing that has always boggled me. Was the fact that they found that down there, and there were no. Oh my God, can I speak? There were no boats. Sorry, I'm having like a mild stroke over here. That they
Well, I mean,
found.
okay, so here's the thing. The idea that somebody could part an entire sea
Right.
sounds logical.
Right. No. That's what I'm getting at. That's why it boggles me, because it doesn't seem logical, but other than the boat theory, how do you explain that, considering they found no
You
boats?
say I don't know, because we don't.
Right. And see, that's the thing that you have to watch out for, because you don't know, and it's like, we don't know that there's a God. Everybody can claim that there is. Everybody can say that there is
True.
all day long, but you don't know.
I'm
It's
an
all
I'm
in
an I'm
faith.
an I'm an agnostic atheist because I don't know and I'm not convinced due to insufficient evidence.
Right.
So,
And
yeah.
that's a big thing. And a lot of people, I feel like, when they do turn to agnosticism and atheism, is because there's not evidence to support it. And like me, I don't want to choose a God or choose the wrong God or something of that nature, or there may not even be one. I don't want to live my life as a horrible person either way and become an
Right.
extremist on either side of either religion or whatever. So it's kind of I feel like people turn towards that, or they get scared and they run towards the closest thing that they can find.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, the vast majority of Christians in the United States are indoctrinated and emotionally manipulated into it.
Yes, I grew up
There
Baptist.
was there was a famous pastor back in the 1970s or 80s who heavily quoted on the psychological discovery of the 4 to 14 window.
Right.
In your
The whole
lifetime,
brainwashing.
yeah, in your lifetime, your brain is a sponge. You learn more in that 4 to 14 window than you will for the rest of your natural born life.
Right.
And they very famously, I think it was Graham or Frank. I don't remember what the hell the pastor. He was a hardcore pastor. He just died like last year.
It would be Graham, something Graham.
Yeah, I think he was the one that was quoted in saying that 4 to 14 window. You got to get them while they're young.
Right. And there's like a bunch of documentaries and movies about that. Like, if anybody in the chat or is wanting to actually check it out, just look up like Christian brainwashing anywhere on the internet, and you should be able to find it. I mean, it's really not that hard.
You just
But
search 4 to 14 window and you'll find it. It's
I mean, that
insane.
too.
There's even a documentary for it called Jesus Camp.
Oh yeah. They actually, there was a bunch of people that went out and saved these kids from being like, they would pick up these homeless kids off the streets and take them into these little camps and everything, and basically brainwash them, like you said. And I'm sorry, but if that's your view on religion, then that's not religion. That's brainwashing to get power. So.
Yep. Well, in my view, that's all Christianity has ever been. There's never been a time in Christian history where that wasn't what they were doing. Either it came at the edge of a sword or it came with brainwashing and emotional manipulation. Christianity has never won its merit by the things it actually preaches.
Right. And another thing that I've thought was really funny, like all of my life, is the fact that the Bible, it's even proven that the written Bible, what we have or so have, is actually dated to be written after Jesus supposedly died.
Yep. The earliest one was either Mark or Matthew, and it was either Mark or Matthew, and it's dated like 60 some odd years after the death of Christ.
Right.
And
And
it has like, and that book specifically has like 2 or 3 different authors,
right.
and none of them are eyewitness accounts of Jesus. They're all told from a second and a third hand account.
But yet we have so-called direct accounts about Adam and Eve and the beginning, and like
Well, we
how
don't
do
even
you
know who wrote that book.
right? See,
For the
that's my
longest
thing. How do
time,
you even
scholars thought it was Moses, but then more recently they've stepped back on that, and a lot of them don't even know that Moses was a real character. There's some debate about it.
right? There's a lot of things that, as I was growing up, I believed were being left out of the Bible, which I still believe to this day.
Yeah,
But
the
I
book
also
of
believe it's just a Mod Podge of things that people have passed down and found and just claimed it to be Christianity. You know what I mean?
well, I mean, you're right. They left a lot of books out. There's the book of Thomas, the book of Adam, the book of Enoch, the book of Judas. Adam and Judas, those 2 books actually describe the Christian God as being the devil, the evil one.
Right, right.
So
There's a lot of
what they did was they selected a series of books that somewhat tangentially related to each other, and they threw them together and said, this is the authority. And at the time they did that, they were the only ones that could read those scrolls.
right,
The rest of the general population could not read.
and a lot
So
of that
it gave them
was
ultimate authority.
that's exactly what I was about to get at. A lot of that was picked and chosen just to fit their narrative and to fit what they wanted in people. You know, you see all these you know, like I grew up going to youth camps and stuff like that, and I vividly remember like speaking in tongues. That's a one thing that I've never understood. They talk about it.
I
They
don't either. It's gibberish and nonsense. Did you see
right.
the political campaign ad? There's a lady out there with a political campaign ad where she speaks tongues in
I've
her
never
ad.
seen that. I'll have to check that out.
Oh my God, dude. This is where we're going. This is the direction the United States is headed.
You
We're going to
can't
let crazy people be in
right.
office.
You can't put religion and politics together. That's not how you run a
No,
country.
no, it's absolutely going to, it will bankrupt and put this country into a worse financial system or in a situation than we've ever been in, ever. Fuck the Great Depression. What we're
Right.
headed for, if Christianity gains control of our government, will be worse than that by a magnitude.
Right. Well, it's like I was saying about the, youth conferences and stuff like that. I remember vividly them trying to scare us at a young age, giving us these stories about like the whole Ruth thing, just different like what seemed like horror stories when I was a kid about
I've
how God can just
sorry,
smite
go ahead.
you at any moment.
Well, and I've
It's
heard stories from various Christian camps where the children in the camp would be sleeping, and then
mhm.
suddenly they would be rattled awake, dragged into a random room, and then like a fake gun would be put to their heads, and they would be like,
Yes.
they would say, we're going to kill you if you're a Christian.
Yeah, they did that. They
Testing the faith of the children.
absolutely 100%.
How fucking terrifying and disgusting is that?
I remember vividly going and being woken up in the middle of the night. This was at one of the camps that I went to, and they pulled that scare tactic on us. And I just remember thinking, okay, so I know this isn't real. At first, I thought like I was gonna die because it's really scary. At 12 years old, waking up to somebody having like a knife or a gun pointed at you. For me, it was a knife. You can't really tell that it's a real knife or a fake knife at that point. You're woken up. You have like, I know some people had bags thrown over their heads, like little potato sacks.
Dude, that is child abuse.
Right. Pulled into another room and did that whole spiel, like, if you're a Christian, you're gonna die, like, denounce God, all this other stuff. And at some point you're scared to say no, and then afterwards they'll have you cry it out and get you with that emotional fear of you crying afterwards, and then try to sneak in and manipulate you by crying. You know what I mean? Like it's
This
emotional.
whole
And
thing, that is such emotional abuse. That is the most disgusting fucking thing an organization could do to a child.
Right.
I don't get why people are into this shit. These are the tactics they use. These horrible, immoral, disgusting tactics they use to brainwash and abuse children into believing what they're being taught.
Right. And I used to be heavily into the church. I mean, I remember wanting to go up and, like, you know, give my testimony and stuff like that, because you were pushed to give your testimony, whatever your testimony at that age would be. You know, I had a pretty shitty childhood, and so I got to use that to my advantage. You know, that made me look cool in church. So I'd go up and I'd share my testimony and everything, not realizing at that point that what I was doing was just trying to look cool in front of people that I thought cared about me, you know? So you go up and you share these things. And I remember one of mine, like, I think it was the last one that I had ever done. I walked up and, you know, I did this whole testimony about how, you know, God loves you, and it's unforgivable, like unconditional love, and he'll forgive you about no matter what. And the pastor's wife walked up to me after I had gotten done, grabbed the microphone from me and added on, "But if you do something wrong, God's going to punish you." And that point, I think, was my big breaking point in understanding that this isn't what I was taught. You know, this isn't what I thought I was being taught.
Where are you at now with all of this?
Well, as of now,
have you deconstructed from faith, or are you still a believer, or where are you at?
As of now, I believe that there are things out there that I can't explain, and I believe that there is something that I can't explain that makes things happen, makes things go. But I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to claim to know what it is, because I don't.
Well, good. You have a head on your shoulders, and I couldn't be more appreciative of that. Based on what you've gone through, though, I want to make a suggestion for you.
Right. Go for it.
There is an organization called Recovering from Religion. If you Google this, you'll find it.
Okay.
I invite you to investigate that.
All right. You said recovering
and then
from
also
religion?
Recovering from Religion. There's also another one called the Secular Therapist Project. It's a project that hires non-religious therapists for people who might be dealing with some emotional issues, some emotional trauma, so that you don't end up with some Jesus freak beating you over the head with the Bible, telling you that Jesus is going to solve all your problems. Right. You'll get a regular, normal therapist. But then there's also a podcast. Do you listen to any podcasts?
I listen to a few while I'm at work.
There's one called "Was I in a Cult?"
Yeah.
Might be a little triggering. It might be a little triggering for you, but I invite you to listen to that podcast.
Okay.
The reason why is because I think it'll give you perspective to understand that you didn't go through this alone.
Right.
It happens everywhere. This isn't new. I mean, I wish well, I'm actually, I don't know if it's more tragic to want it to be new or to want it to be old, but I don't know. I feel like you listening to some other people's stories might give you some perspective.
I think that would help.
Because what you went through as a child has to have an impact on you as an adult.
Well, it did make me definitely, like I told you before, I'm in emergency services, so I work on an ambulance full time.
And I love you for that, by the way.
Thank you. I do it because I want to do it. It's not something that.
Well, if it wasn't for medical services like you, corpse. So I love all medical services.
Well, I'm glad you're not a corpse.
EMTs have saved my life twice.
Well, I'm glad for that. Of what I went through, I believe had pushed me, because I ended up going to a Christian college because I believed that, going to a Christian college when I got out of high school was going to keep me straight, keep me on the right path. No, not at all. I rebelled so hard.
If you don't mind my asking, how old are you now?
I am 20 years old. I am not that old,
you're still pretty young. You're still pretty fresh in it. I'm surprised you came out of it as early as you did.
Yeah, I think it took me about 16, 17 to finally realize, hey, this is kind of fucked up. I still went to the Christian college because I still had that slight conviction, as they call it, but it's not really conviction, it's fear of, going to hell, to try to put me on the right path. And I realized more in college, actually.
Here's something funny about the Christian religion.
Mhm.
Hell doesn't exist in the original doctrine.
Right.
Not at all.
It only came up during around Dante's Inferno, I believe.
Yeah.
In that era.
4th and 5th centuries. Yeah, 4th and 5th centuries. That's when Christianity adopted the hell doctrine. Before that, it didn't exist.
They actually taught that in the Christian college that I went to. Surprisingly, they were a little bit more open.
When I get Christians in this, and I'm having conversations with Christians who say that I'm lying or that I'm making shit up, I'm like, dude, you can go to any Christian college and this is what they'll fucking teach you. Early century Christians did not believe in hell, period.
I want to say at least 40 to 50% of the people that I went to college with ended up dropping and going to a different college, or ended up deflecting from Christianity.
Which one did you go to?
It's called Faulkner University. It's in
Okay, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't Liberty.
Oh no. No. It was still strict though. We had curfews, talking about a freshman in college having a curfew at 12 a.m. You had to be on campus. No guys allowed in the dorms. You can't even, hug on a guy or you'll get in trouble. I got, bitched at because I had shorts that were a little too short sometimes,
Everything with Christians is sex. Like, they are obsessed with sex. I swear to God, when people in psychology talk about projection, all I can think of is Christians.
It's because they're projecting their own immoral values and what they wish that they could do. Because I remember, again, in youth camp, going back to this, them telling us over and over again, no purple, which I don't know if you understand that it's, girls and guys, pink and blue, you mix that together, it makes purple.
Yeah.
You could hold somebody's hand, it could be your best friend, and it'd be a guy, you hold their hand and you have somebody breathing down your neck saying no purple. And it's really weird how they project their, want for sexuality in a spin of a different.
And it gets even more intense when you bring up gay.
Oh yeah.
Because damn well there's there's a statistic, 1 out of every 4 guys is gay or has homosexual tendencies. And so if you're at a college with 2,000 people, do the math.
Right. Actually, 6 girls on my floor alone in my college were gay, and they would not tell anybody but their close friends. I ended up being close friends with about 4 of them, found out with the other ones because, they kind of all grouped together. And it's not hard to pinpoint them out because, I'm not going to go on stereotypes, but
stereotypes are how we use to label things. It's fine.
Right.
People need to stop worrying so much about stereotypes.
Right. But it was really funny. That was on my floor alone. I don't really know about the other floors. I'm sure there were plenty more, but that was just in the girls' dorm alone. And that's a dorm of about maybe 100 people. So, I mean, that was at a Christian college, and the amount of people are deemed gay.
When I talk about how this ideology has no benefit, I'm not blowing this shit out my ass. Seriously, this is toxic shit. This is harmful to people.
I mean, it's harmful to not only the kids, but even the adults who have been brainwashed for years and years and years, hiding, whether they're gay or not, hiding in a closet. If you never get married, you're never going to be able to experience that first, I'm not going to get into that part because that's a little too much.
It goes so much deeper than, there are some things that people, like what you went through, I'm sure there's some things you don't want to talk about, and I would never push you on it. But what we're getting at here just scratches the surface of what some people go through at the hands of religious organizations. It goes deeper than this.
Right.
It gets worse.
Right. Well,
if I could give you a hug, hon, I absolutely would do it. I'd hug you heavy and tight because you're a badass. Oh, I lost her.
Go get some sleep
you're
before we
welcome.
get a call.
Yes, take a nap.
So,
Feel
adios.
refreshed. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. All right.
Bye.
It's not letting me disconnect.
I don't want. Are you Christians in the comment section even listening to the conversation? Like, is any of this sinking in at all? Or are you just completely fucking ignoring what's being said? You didn't debunk shit. Sunfigs, I've never even talked to you. Get a life. Hello, my friend.
What's up, man?
How's it going?
Going all right, man. So yeah, I've been sitting here listening to, I think, the last 3 conversations, and one thing I want to point out, I'm a Christian, is I've seen the last 3 people come on here, and at first, when they first came on, like, it seemed like they claimed to be Christians or whatever, and as the conversation progressed, it seemed as if they were unsure, and that kind of bothers me. I feel like you should either be Christian and what the Bible says, or not be.
Yeah,
So
it seems to be a Christian. It seems to be a Christian thing that everything has to be black, white, yes, no, good or bad, and that nuance can't possibly exist. This is one of the ignorances that arises from a religious belief.
I disagree. I don't think it.
Well, that's what you just said.
Necessarily
That's
white or
what you
black.
just said. Either you are a Christian or you aren't a Christian. You didn't leave any ground for nuance or being in the middle of it.
Well, when it comes to certain things, like so the Bible says, it's like, and I don't need to quote scripture. I don't know how you feel about that, but
Well, you can quote scripture all you want, but I could probably counter quote it.
no, it's just like when they come on, and if they were to say, like, I believe in the Bible and God, and then you quote stuff in the Bible that you feel is wrong, and they're like, oh wow, and then they start agreeing with you. It's like, I feel like it should be more
that's what happens when you're
stable.
given a logical proposition, man. The
No, I agree.
The intellectually dishonest thing would be to try to make an apology. I had a guy on last night before I went to dialysis who quite literally thought that it was appropriate to own slaves, and he thought it was okay to beat the shit out of children because the Bible says it's okay.
So the woman that just came on, when she first started talking, she said there was no scientific evidence for Jesus existing, and that's actually false.
No, there's
There
not.
is.
There's not.
Probably not the Christ, but there is historical evidence that a man, Jesus Christ, did it. Yes, there is. Of course, there is.
There's not.
So give me because I got that's actually what
the only description of anything remotely close to Christ is the Bible.
Okay, show me your evidence. What's your evidence that there isn't? Because there actually is many sources that
I said there's no evidence of it.
There is, actually.
There's not.
So I will show you. I will quote one of the sources right here. Do you know a man named Josephus?
You're wasting your time.
Okay, do you know a man named Josephus?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you would know what I'm talking about. You know the book that he wrote, right? That actually, most of the modern scholars actually, I don't want to quote the book, but I will show you. It's called Antiquities. He has a passage in there where he quotes James, the brother of Jesus, and then.
Good. Wait.
In the testimony.
Hold on. Your evidence for a Jesus is a guy retold a story he heard from another guy. Think about that for a tenth of a second.
That's actually not the reason I believe.
That's not evidence.
Well, I just quoted one of the evidence that's there.
That's
Most of the modern scholars already agree with that. And I could send it to you in the inbox.
No, they don't.
You even said
No,
that
they don't.
you even said that you know who Josephus was. So how would you disagree with
Yes,
me?
I did know who Josephus was. I said I knew who he is. He was a philosopher. Okay, great. Oh well.
So you didn't
So
know
what?
you didn't know of the book that
And
he wrote.
okay, fine. I'll grant you this argument. Great. There's a Hasidic Jew running around in the Middle East screaming crazy shit. What's your point?
That's not who Josephus was at all.
No, I was talking about Jesus. I'll grant you that Jesus existed. Great. Great. There is a Hasidic Jew running around in the Middle East 2,500 years ago talking shit. What about it?
So if
why should I care?
I was saying there is historical evidence that a man named Jesus was there. Now, if you don't want to agree with the Bible that he was a prophet that did miracles, that's another story. I understand if you don't want to agree.
Well, what difference does it make if there was a crazy Jew named Jesus running around talking shit? What difference does that make?
That makes a lot of difference for some people that
say
that he didn't exist at all. Maybe not for you, but
I said I'm not convinced of his existence. I didn't say he didn't exist. Stop. I never said he didn't exist. I said I'm not convinced. And as far as Jesus actually existing,
I don't want to argue with you, but
as far as Jesus actually existing, that's still largely up for debate.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on because I feel like you. I don't know what you believe, but for the sake of the viewers, I wanted to make sure I pointed that out. Now, there's actually many reasons why I believe in God, and I went through a lot of things. So I'd like to tell you what I went through. I went through everything that you could imagine within the faith, like the last girl did. I went through the whole extremist part. I believed many things. Like I was taught crazy things, like the earth is flat, all the way over to no sex before marriage, all of that. You name it. You could say anything to me, and I guarantee you I went through it. But when I first became a Christian, and I'm not going to quote the Bible because I'm going to talk about personal experience, and you could believe it or not. Anybody in the comments can believe it or not.
Is not evidence. Your personal experience is not evidence.
Well, it's evidence to me because it happened.
Good for you.
So I was in my room, right? This is when I first became a Christian. And at this point, I already believed in the Bible. I didn't have any doubts. And as I was reading, I said to myself, I believe that the Red Sea crossing was the greatest miracle of all time. And a voice within me that was audible, right, said to me, no, it wasn't. It was in my right ear. And so I turned around, right, obviously, and I spoke back to that voice. And I said, then what was? And the voice spoke back to me, and it said 3 words. And this was the last of what it said. And it said, Jesus Christ was. And so obviously, like any other person, I would have said, God, if this is you speaking to me, show me.
No, any other person with a rational fucking thought in their head would have gone and seen a psychologist for hearing voices in their head.
And then after I asked if that was
so
God,
you're just going to ignore me.
I'm going to finish my story instead of you cutting me off like that.
Yeah, so this is my fucking platform. If you want to proselytize your story, make your own fucking videos. Don't do it on my fucking channel.
Why do you have so much anger? I haven't came to
I'm
you
not
with
angry.
any anger. I'm
not even a little bit angry.
With your well, it seems like you're angry, sir. I'm just trying to.
Well, that's your interpretation of my behavior, but that's not my behavior.
That's the point of you having this live.
Stop. My point of having this live is to have an actual legitimate intellectual conversation about the existence of supernatural claims and gods. It has nothing to do with your personal experience about voices you heard when you were alone in your bedroom from a religion you already previously believed in.
Can I ask you a question, sir? So you are here stating your opinion on what you fully hardly believe, and you're so angry about it. And I'm supposed to accept that. I'm supposed to accept that and listen to you.
I'm not angry.
But hold on, let me speak.
Stop saying shit that isn't true. You're being dishonest. As far as I can remember, as far as I can remember, lying is a lying is a fucking sin. Stop making accusations about what I am if you don't know.
Loving each other. If you're on this live talking about loving each other, why are you talking over me when I wholeheartedly believe what I'm saying? I'm not doing the same thing to you.
Because I didn't create this fucking profile, and I don't do these lives so that people can come on and proselytize their nonsense. I do this for an intellectual conversation. You have a God claim.
I'm telling
what
you
evidence
my
do you
experience.
have
So why do you
to prove
why do
that
you
claim?
have a live if you don't want to listen to other people's experiences? Why do you even have this live then?
I just explained it to you. I just explained it to you.
No, because nobody wants to hear you sit here, raise your voice,
Really?
say shit, and
Really?
stuff like that.
Really?
They want to hear a
Because there's
conversation.
581 people in this live right now, and my channel's up to 24,000. The last channel I had before you Christians got it fucking Thanos for mass reporting was 107,000 followers. Stop being an arrogant fucking prick.
So did you want to
Look at
continue
this
with this
shit.
conversation,
Look
or
at this
did
shit
you
you
want
are talking.
Did you want to argue?
Look at this shit you are talking right now from the perspective of a Christian. How Christ-like are you behaving in this moment?
Can you enlighten me what being Christ-like is like?
I have no idea. I'm not fucking Christ-like, but based on what people like to preach,
try to put words
it's
in my
humble.
mouth for saying what I want to
Basically,
say.
it's
Don't try to put
humble,
me in a
and you're not being humble. You're just sitting here talking shit.
Okay, sir.
You want to have an intellectual back and forth. I am more than happy to have that conversation, but I am not going to let you use my platform to preach your nonsense. You don't want to be here? Don't be here. Don't like my content? Get the fuck off my page.
So I don't think that you want to actually listen to personal experiences. You just want to talk about...
No, I don't want to listen to your personal fucking experience. I don't.
So what logic is that? Did I tell you a personal experience?
Your personal experience is not evidence of a God. Your personal experience is not evidence of a God.
Okay, that's wonderful. Now I'm going to ask my question now. How do you know what I just said didn't happen? How do you know that didn't happen?
I don't give a fuck if it did or not. I didn't say you didn't have an experience.
That's my point.
I didn't say. I didn't say. Shut the fuck up.
You're making no sense.
Shut up.
You said you don't care. You just said you don't care if it did or didn't happen.
You're not going to get a word in edgewise, man. I'm not going to stop talking the fuck over you.
You don't care what I said it did or didn't happen. You just want to argue.
Shut up.
Because you hate God. For some reason, your voice seems like you hate you hate God.
Shut up.
And now I will stop talking because
I can't hate something I don't believe in. I can't hate something I don't believe in. For starters. Secondly, I didn't say you didn't have an experience. I'm asking why the fuck you didn't question it. Why you automatically went to a religious explanation rather than a mental break.
I questioned it, but you were too busy talking when I was saying what happened.
You didn't question it.
You didn't let me finish my story.
You didn't question it.
You didn't let me finish my story.
I listened to the story.
You didn't let me
I
finish
listened to the story. You did not question it.
You did not let me finish my story, sir.
I listened to the story. You did not question it.
Do you want me to say my story again so you can listen?
No.
Okay, then. That's the whole point. We didn't even have to do all of that. You could have just told me that you didn't want to hear the story.
I did. Before you started it, I said, this isn't the place. I said, personal experience is not evidence, and you went off and talked about it anyway. I don't give a fuck about your personal experience. I give a fuck about what is true. Shut up.
What box do you want me to put in?
I give a fuck about what is true.
You don't want me on here to
I
kick
give
me
a fuck about what is true.
If you don't want me to talk,
I give a fuck about what is true. I give a fuck about what is true. And what is true is what can be proven, not what can be asserted.
What I could be saying could be true. What you could be saying could be
true.
No,
it's not.
You can't have 100%. So you know for certainty that God doesn't exist then.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, then my experience could be true.
No. Your personal experience is not evidence of anything.
If you know for certain that my experience was not true, then you must know 100% certainty that God's not real.
I didn't say your experience wasn't true. I said it's not evidence.
Okay, so I'm going to repeat myself again, sir. Do you know for 100% certainty that my experience is not true? Yes or no?
I never said that.
Okay, if you don't know for certain that my experience is true, then let me say my experience, please.
Really, stop. Stop. I admit that it's likely you had an experience, but I think it's more likely that you misunderstood what you were experiencing because you had a personal.
Because you think it's more likely,
goddamn talking over me.
My experience at all because you believe it's more likely.
No, we're done. You're not being an honest interlocutor, and I'm not putting up with your shit.
Wow, in his life.
Go fuck yourself.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm doing all right. So, okay, from not getting into the Bible, not getting into all that stuff, here is why I believe that there is something more. And this is not this is just, like basic stuff. So, like all the smartest people that have ever lived. So, what the hell's his name? God, now I'm losing it. The apple fell from the tree. He invented calculus. Isaac Newton. So Isaac Newton was probably one of the smartest person that ever lived on the planet, right?
Yeah,
Other than
maybe. No, I wouldn't call him the smartest person on the planet, just the most recognized.
Okay, well, Tesla, Da Vinci, Aristotle, all these people were just, geniuses. Maybe they weren't the smartest people ever, but they got to be top 50, right? Top 10 ever.
Sure.
Every one of those people, like, they spent more time talking about God and all this stuff than they did on any other subject. The guy who created calculus wrote 10 times as much about God as he did about math. So
yeah, he was a product of his time. That's why. Thomas Paine, one of the founding fathers of the United States, if he was alive today, he would be an avid, militant atheist. But because he was born in the time he was born, no,
that's a hell of a thing to say, honestly.
It's not the hell of a thing to say. If you read Age of Reason, the book that Thomas Paine wrote, it is a scathing ass diatribe about the evils of religion and the fact that they should not be involved in government at all. And had it been left up to Thomas Paine, we wouldn't even have the freedom of religion in this country. He wanted to ban it.
Yeah, but what you need to do is put your perspective on the times that you live in. So right now to be
a deist.
Right now to be, okay, let me finish. Right now to be an atheist, you're living in a Judeo-Christian society. It's the most free, nice, well, okay, if you live in Europe or America, society built on Judeo-Christian values.
No,
it's the most, well, fine, then you're not. But Western Europe and United States is a Judeo-Christian values. Okay, well, let's not get hung up on that because,
dude, I can fucking give you so many goddamn things that says this isn't a Christian nation. Starting with Andrew Seidel, who is a constitutional lawyer and wrote a book called The Founding Myth. Or you can go to any one of the fucking founding fathers who said explicitly that this is not a Christian nation.
You're missing the
separation of church and state for the reason.
You're missing the entire point of the conversation is that it's not that, okay, let's say it's not exactly. What I'm saying is your life is better now than all people who have lived before you ever, okay?
Because you have science.
What? What's that?
Because of science, not because of religion.
Well, whatever. You have the most access to money. You weren't born a slave. You're not working the gravel pits. You're not whipped on the back building pyramids. There's not famine. You have antibiotics. There's tons of stuff, and you can claim whatever you want. What I'm saying is, when you live at the very tippy top of civilization, it's easy to not want religion. When you're digging out a pit and your entire family is dying of famine and you're a slave, religion is much easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because religion takes advantage of the downtrodden. It's emotional manipulation and thought slavery.
Okay, well then fine. But religion is also the only light for someone living in just crazy, terrible conditions of slavery or famine.
And yet that religion does nothing to help them out of it.
Well, but whether or not you think that it helps them, but if it gives them the hope to carry on every day and to keep striving to make themselves better or to provide for their family.
You can find hope in anything.
But what I'm saying is you're looking at it as a personal basis and not as what that person might need. If it helps that person,
I can tell you this right now. a lot of that downtrodden slavery and all that bullshit you're talking about, religion is solely responsible for the vast majority of it. Let's do a real cursory kind of understanding of the Christian religion. We can go to 2 different inquisitions where people were tortured to death for having thought crimes. We can go to the Dark Ages where the church basically ruled everything and put people to death who wouldn't convert.
You're getting
We can go to the
too
Crusades
literal with
where stop.
you're way too literal.
Stop. We can go to the Crusades where religion spent the vast majority of 500 years killing each other over whose God had the bigger dick. We can go to the United States where the Salem witch trials slaughtered children. We can go to the Bible being used to justify slavery, Jim Crow, segregation. We can go to the Bible where the Bible was used to prevent women from having the right to vote or own property.
Okay, just
and
stop
more
for just a
recently, where
second.
the Bible was used to try to harm gay people. So no,
You're just
in no
making
way,
a list
in
of
no
people.
way, in no way is your religion, or any religion for that matter, a net benefit.
Okay, you're totally taking it too specific, and so you're just making a list of what people have done in the name of religion, or what
Great.
people
What
are.
benefit has
So
religion
people
brought?
are. Okay, listen. People are evil. They're fallible. They're
No, they're
they're
not.
every. What?
People are not evil. Evil doesn't exist.
Okay. Consciousness, all right, is probably the most unique thing in the universe. And being conscious, when a lion eats up a little baby lamb, it's not evil, it's not good or wrong, it's nature, okay?
Right.
A man with consciousness can be evil. He can murder
No.
for some other issue or whatever, okay?
No.
Consciousness, and like what I'm saying is you're getting way too literal and way too hung up on whether or not it's Jesus and what all these people have done in the name of religion. It's way too literal.
That's why I asked you to name something that was a benefit of religion that outweighs all the evil shit it's done.
Well, I mean, like I said, it has given, I would say, billions of people hope in abject.
So a person's hope, it's an even trade to you that one person might get hope from it, but it's going to hurt somebody else. That's an even trade.
Well, you can't. What I'm saying is you cannot attribute the hurt to the religion, but rather to the horrible things that people do in its name, right? So, like Crusades were not.
So you want to play you want to do an obfuscation fallacy.
No, it's not
You're letting religion off the hook, is what you're doing.
No, I don't think that. Okay, there's a lot of religions, right? Buddhist is not a real violent religion. Buddhists aren't out there like, hey, you need to conquer other people. It's more about yourself.
And yet historically they have.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is you keep focusing on the negative that people have done.
Give me something positive.
I think that the main advancements that people have done, and like the trying to help people, whether it's scientific, whether it's humanitarian, whether it's wars or sacrificing for their family or fighting, you could attribute enormous amount of that to people's faith. And we were totally off the subject of what I was trying to get at.
Negative
what?
You're doing doing exactly what you're claiming me to do, except the opposite. You're obfuscating religion. I'm holding religion responsible for the shit that it teaches people, and it teaches people some pretty horrible shit.
Okay, what is the worst example of religion teaching horrible shit? Because it teaches some great shit too.
Okay, let's just stick to the character of the Christian God as described in the Bible. He is guilty of infanticide, genocide, sex trade, sex slavery, just outright indiscriminately murders children repeatedly. By his own admission, he is a jealous God, and his name is jealous, which is specifically said in the Bible. And he invented evil in Isaiah 45:7.
Okay.
So if that's a God you want to worship, my friend, you be my guest, but I'm not going to do it because I have a moral fucking standard of behavior.
Well, and if you accept that,
he doesn't fit it.
Okay. So why do you talk about if that God, why do you talk about that God as if it exists? Because if like, according to you, it doesn't exist anyway. So why are you
I never
saying all
said
this
that God
stuff?
didn't exist. I said I'm not convinced that God exists. And if that God does exist, I won't worship it. I'm talking about this from an allegorical perspective because I have to.
You know, I think the best, I think that you are so maybe a little bit defensive that everybody comes on and is trying to convince you that God exists and all this stuff,
No,
or that God is good or bad.
nothing
saying,
anybody says is going to convince me of jack shit. And I'm not defensive. I don't have to be, because they're all really bad fucking arguments. And I can defeat every single fucking one of them.
well, I think that when you say that you can defeat it, you're just pointing out to the negative things that people have done in, you know.
Well, that's how you have a conversation, right? That's how you weigh whether an action is good or bad. You have a conversation about it and you point out those things that aren't good.
Okay.
That's how you measure anything.
Okay. So let me ask you this.
Perspective.
Do you think that any people find solace or some benefit or some good to religion or
I
believing
don't
in
give
God?
a shit. To me, it's not worth the trade. It's not worth the 13-year-old right now who's out on the streets because her Jesus loving mommy and daddy kicked her out of the house for coming out as gay.
Okay, but
Not worth it.
that situation,
Not
you're
worth it.
still blaming the religion when it's not the
It is
religion.
the
It's the
religion. It is
it's
the
the
religion.
person.
If it wasn't for the religion, her parents probably wouldn't have kicked her the fuck out.
Well, I mean, you're still blaming the person, and even if you take it first a little bit further, the people who told her parents that this is the way, they were wrong, and then that
Yeah,
person's wrong.
yeah,
It's not the religion.
right. Yes, there is nobody specifically, no person that you can blame for this. This is a societal problem, and religion is the fucking problem.
Well, I don't know. I think that you're looking at it as the
The
problem.
denial of science, the denial of education, purity culture, anti-LGBTQ, anti-women right, bigotry, racism. All of these things are traced back to Christianity in this country specifically.
Yeah, those things have existed always, though. That's not.
Not to this degree. Not to this degree.
Oh, well, I mean, there wasn't the internet and stuff back then. People just, if 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, if you were gay or whatever, they just kill you. They didn't give a
No,
shit.
they didn't. No, they didn't.
Okay, they'd enslave you.
No, they didn't.
Look at Genghis Khan. I mean,
No. You need to read a history book, because when the Bible was written, being gay was actually normal. Having homosexual tendencies, being bisexual was the norm. And the people that wrote your book were a small group of people.
It's not my book.
Small group of people that disagreed with it. But the vast majority of society was fine with it.
Okay, so let's shift the conversation to what I was originally going to talk about. I think the smartest people on earth do believe in some sort of a God or an afterlife or whatever.
Good.
Here,
relevant.
Okay, well, you're talking. Here is the relevant part. So, people, young children, reincarnation stories. There's thousands of them. Whether or not maybe they're all fake.
Fake.
And then there's when people die, right before they die, they have this out of body experience.
No, they don't. Their brain releases a chemical hallucinogen called DMT. It is a evolutionary thing that helps relieve your anxiety at the time of death. We've proven that.
All right, that's a great example, actually. Graham Hancock writes he's been on Joe Rogan. He wrote a few books.
Joe Rogan's a fucking idiot. I don't care what Joe Rogan does or says.
Graham Hancock wrote a book about DMT, ayahuasca, and all this stuff. So here's one of the craziest stories. So like the Aborigines and the people down the Amazon, they have this poison that they put on their arrow, and they shoot these animals, and it's a paralytic. I can't remember the name. It's famous. It starts with a K. So anyway, when it hits you, when it hits the animal, it paralyzes them. So when they went to these tribes, they're like, hey, how did you find out this? Where did you find this stuff? And they like, oh, we took DMT and we spoke to the dead, and they told us how to do it. To make it, you have to boil it. You can't breathe the air. you have to simmer, like the whole thing is poisonous and it puts off this poison gas. So these Aborigine guys are making this crazy, really intricate poison. And if they ingest it, if they touch it, if they breathe it in, it will kill them. And when they say they speak to the dead and it tells them, like, are they just lying? And that's, if you really go into like the Aborigines in Australia and all these people, they go and they have these, like these DMT or these ayahuasca trips, and they speak to beings, or maybe it's consciousness, and maybe that we are in one realm or one dimension.
Are
and
you
as
jumping in to speculate, or are we going to have a conversation? I
well,
don't give a fuck what Aborigines think they're doing with ayahuasca. I don't care. We've
Okay.
studied the effects of psychedelics on the brain since the 1960s. And if you do too much of it, it'll turn your brain into fucking rubber because it burns out the neurons. We know
All right.
what psychedelics do. You're not coming up with anything new. What you are doing is spreading misinformation
How is that a
based on your own
misinformation?
personal bias, period.
What? This has nothing to do with my personal bias. I've never
Right,
taken
because you're not
tea.
advocating for supernatural anything at all, are you?
Well, what I'm saying is that is a very specific example of a culture being able to do something extraordinary. And then
Good.
when they
Lots
ask
of
that
cultures did
culture,
extraordinary shit. Who cares?
okay, so
What?
you were looking for evidence of God, or some evidence of something beyond normal or beyond science or beyond. So when I give you example of people doing something extraordinary with what they said
Where
to
does
help,
it say? Where does it say people doing extraordinary shit here?
well,
Where?
I think looking for evidence of God, right?
That's not evidence of a god.
So
That's
if
evidence.
people,
That's evidence that people had fever dreams on drugs. That's what that's evidence of. It is not evidence of a fucking god.
what's fucking crazy is those people had a fever dream that gave them an amazing ability to find 1 in a million freaking medicine, and they were able to do it safely. Like, how is that? It's not statistically
I'm
possible.
willing to bet you that the process for developing, I think it's called ketamine, probably killed a whole bunch of them until they figured out how to handle it correctly. In the
Okay.
same way that Curie Marie developed X-rays, it killed her. She did a lot of science, and it risked her life because radioactive material will kill you. She
All right.
died having invented X-rays from the radioactive material she had been fucking with. So what?
But if you ask her, if you asked her how she invented X-rays, and she said, "No, I smoked this shit, and my dead relative told me how to do it," do you believe her when she says that?
No.
Or you just discount it?
No.
All
I
right.
don't
Well,
believe people when they said they fucking did drugs and spoke to a dead relative. I never believed that because there's no fucking evidence of it.
what I'm saying is, if the lady who invented X-rays said she found out by talking to her dead relatives, would you believe her, or just say that she's crazy? Because that's what all these people have
That's not
done.
how she did it. I'm not concerned with that.
But if she did, would you discount her immediately, or just because
I would
that's
discount,
basically what
yeah,
you're
that
saying?
part of it. I would discount that part of it.
Okay.
Because while you're sitting here propping up Isaac Newton for being the grandfather of gravity, you're forgetting that Isaac Newton also believed in alchemy and numerology and a dozen other things that were not true. So
Right.
your whole argument falls apart right off the bat.
No, it's not. That's not
smart
basis.
people. Just because smart people believe in a god doesn't mean it's fucking true.
Well, I'm not saying that is my only evidence. I'm saying
And
that
I don't give a shit about drug-induced fever dreams. I don't care.
It's not drug-induced fever dreams. It's that they were able to extract information from drug-induced
You
fever
don't
dreams.
know that.
Well, I mean, there's a couple books about ayahuasca, DMT, and all this stuff.
Yeah, you know what? I have people, I'm a rideshare driver, and I have 20 somethings jumping in my car pretty much on the weekly telling me that DMT helps them achieve enlightenment and puts them into a different fucking realm of existence. I don't care.
Well,
Don't give a shit. First off,
all right. So
you can't fucking prove it. Second off, it doesn't add anything to this conversation.
all right. Well, let me ask you another question. Let's say that you were a god and that you had almighty power. Would you prove it to your people? Or would you?
Your ass, I would. I would do everything in my power to make sure my creation had every possible chance ever.
They wouldn't. Then they wouldn't believe in you. They would fear you.
No, I wouldn't use violence. I wouldn't threaten them. I wouldn't harm them. I would try to educate them.
I mean, it doesn't matter whether or not you would try or not. If you could, split the Red Sea or cause a lightning bolt to fall, immediately everyone is going to be afraid of you. What?
Why would I do that? Why?
Well, that's exactly the type.
Why would I use my power in a way that would instill fear?
If you were an almighty being, how would you give people evidence of your existence? And if you gave them that evidence, how would you not make them automatically fear your existence?
Well,
and automatically fall.
It's not my look. This is a really kind of fucking wonky ass what if. But just because you lack the imagination to figure out a way to do that doesn't mean I would.
Well, you're looking for evidence, and you're not
going to do a better job of this than the God of the Bible, for fucking damn sure.
Okay, well, whatever. Okay, let's say that you could. Say that tomorrow you wake up and you have all the powers of God. How do you convince people that God is real, and that you convince them like you would like to be convinced?
Or that every single person of cancer in like the snap of a finger.
Okay,
but all disease in the snap of a finger.
All right. Well, now let me just go back to my original point. When a lion kills a calf,
damn, dude, you are just wonky as fuck.
What you're talking about?
How many different fucking topics and subjects are you going to broach? You asked me a fucking question. We have a conversation about a specific
cancer. Okay. You would cure all cancer.
Down, and then you change the fucking subject, and I knock that down, and then you change to another subject.
I'm not knocking it down. You would cure all cancer. Would you stop loneliness? Would you stop fear? Would everyone have the perfect relationship? Would everyone be happy 20 hours a day? I'm trying to make a point that in nature,
I would not create a perfect world. And the reason why is because if all you ever feel is happiness all the fucking time, then you don't know how to appreciate it. We need to feel angry, sad, depressed. We need those emotions so that when we are happy, we understand it.
So how would you fix the world?
A perfect world, but I expect a fuck of a lot better than what this is.
Okay, and how would you do that if you were God tomorrow? How would you show the world? Cure cancer, and then that's it?
That's all I have to do. That's all I would have to do.
Is cure cancer.
Yeah, all I'd have to do is cure disease. I wouldn't have to do anything else. Just get rid of that burden on the human race. Get rid of that small burden, not that big, huge burden on the human race. And this species would flourish immensely.
Like disease is the lowest it's ever been in the history of the world.
No, it's not.
How? Like, how is it not? People live longer now, live better, live healthier lives than they ever have in the history of the world.
To some degree, sure.
Okay.
90,000 people per year require a kidney transplant. Just under 20,000 get it, and 5,000 people die on dialysis.
But 20,000 people get it, and 100 years ago, zero got it.
What the fuck is the goddamn point?
What do you mean? The point of life or the point of...
Who gives a shit? I'm not God. You're making up this goddamn scenario that has no fucking point.
The point is, you are not convinced that there's a God. And
Correct.
I said, if you were God, what would the convincing that you would require? And you said you would cure all disease. What I was saying is, if you were an almighty being and tomorrow you could slide down a lightning bolt and speak in everybody's head that God exists, everyone would just be afraid of you.
Good,
right?
fine. You're right. Sure.
Well,
What?
you're trying to have
What the fuck is your point?
If a God did exist, it would not give you proof of his existence, because that proof would undermine any message that he would have, and it would immediately destroy it. How it totally would.
Bullshit.
Because all that fear mongering that all the church people have done would immediately be true.
Wrong.
Okay.
Knowledge has never led to more problems. Ignorance leads to problems, which is why we have 45,000 different denominations of Christianity worldwide, because even Christians can't get along on what they think their God wants. It's a fucking guessing game, the greatest game of hide and seek that mankind has ever known. The Christian God, if he exists, has literally left a gap, and it has destroyed civilization.
I mean, I think that's a pretty negative take, but
No,
let's
it's
just.
not. It is the realistic take, not a negative take. It is the realistic take. For the entirety of the Christian religion, all they have done, inspired by their religion, is fucking kill people.
Well, I think that's an early, all religions kind of go through that. Christianity.
If it wasn't for the Constitution and the rule of law in the United States, there are Christians in this country that would hunt down gay people daily.
I think that's a little bit.
Really? Look up Steve Anderson, Greg Locke. Look up any number of pastors who have said as much publicly.
Yeah, but who gives a shit what some idiot pastor thinks? I don't.
I do, because it's the religion that's inspiring that fucking behavior.
Yeah, well, Christianity's as a religion, less violent, I think.
No.
And like, if you compare Islam to Christianity, where Christianity was in the Crusades is about where Islam is now.
Here we go again, off on a different fucking tangent, dealing with a different fucking subject instead of addressing what we just got done talking about.
Okay, you're addressing very specific examples of people using religion to be.
I am telling you that the religion has been nothing but evil and a harm to human society, and I can give you fucking receipts. And instead of intellectually accepting that fact, you are waffling and trying to find any fucking excuse.
There are positive benefits to religion.
What?
Hope.
Bullshit.
Right?
I can get hope from anywhere. I don't need religion to do it. And that hope does not make up for the people that suffer as a result of that religion.
Okay, but you're talking about your personal experience.
Is not a fair fucking trade to the other person suffering from it.
Okay, what I'm saying is you have to agree that people derive hope from religion.
I don't care.
Okay.
Don't care. Don't give a fuck. It's not worth it.
To you, it's not. But to other people,
it's not worth it, period. I'm not looking at this from just my perspective. I'm looking at this for the betterment of society as a whole, our entire fucking species. And I am telling you, it is not worth that trade.
All right.
The damage that it does is not worth the hope it might give somebody.
So do you think that life, okay, well, let's just look at it like this. Do you think that life has an inherent value? Like, do you have a moral standard in life, like, as value? Like, if you're saying that it doesn't matter and that there's no God and none of it matters and everybody tomorrow is doomed, there's no religion, and then everyone...
Never fucking said that. Stop putting words in my mouth.
Well, I'm saying that a lot of people take value of life or somehow...
what you're actually seeing in society is people who have been brainwashed and emotionally manipulated through fear tactics to believe a bullshit story. The University of Boston did a study with children ages 4 to 6, and they found out that children who grew up in religious households had a harder time differentiating between fiction and reality when they were told stories. Children born in non-religious households had a much easier time telling the difference between fiction and reality when they were stories. So all your religion does is brainwash, emotionally manipulate, and use fear tactics, and it causes harm.
what I'm getting at is what is the most important thing in life? Because did those people,
The
were
purpose
they
of life is to give life purpose. That's for you to fucking decide living your life. What are you going to do with it? That's up to
that's
you.
what
I get my
saying
purpose
is,
from what I decide to get my purpose from. I do not get my purpose from an authority figure in a book.
okay, but did those people that have religion, did they live, were they happier in their life? Did they think
Who
that they
gives a shit?
fulfilled? Well, that's what I'm getting at. What is the point of life? What is the most important thing?
You get
Is
to
it
decide
that?
that for yourself. In my life personally, I get purpose from doing these conversations. I get purpose from riding my Harley, watching anime, going bowling, playing poker, all the things I enjoy doing. I get
Happiness.
purpose from that.
So happiness and purpose is the most important thing that you see in life. So if those
Sure.
people use religion and they find happiness, is that not okay for them? Or is it not okay because you don't think?
How many people does it hurt in the process? Because my happiness doesn't hurt anybody.
Well, I would say that there's a lot of people.
Me riding my Harley or going and playing poker doesn't cause harm.
Well, and for every negative example, there's probably 1 billion people that live their.
No. Other way around. For every people, there's 1 billion people suffering for it. Oh, we lost him. Ain't life a bitch? Anyway, really quick before we move on to the next guest, up above my head, here's my Venmo, my Cash App. If you think these conversations are worthwhile and you're enjoying this content that I'm making, please feel free to donate. It's not required. I'm still going to make this content regardless. It's free. I'm not, charging people for this shit. But I appreciate the consideration. And if you don't think it's worth anything, tell me to go fuck myself. That's fine too. I'm going to do this regardless. Doesn't matter. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm going to do this no matter what. So if you think it's worth it, please. I don't want your prayers. Keep your prayers to yourself. That's rude. Hello.
Hello. I'd like to start off with, I'm 13, but I would really like to get my voice across here.
I tend to, I have a difficult time with minors. Really quick, I'll give you a few minutes. Say what you got to say, and then I'll respond after you're off the air.
All right, thank you. So really, all I'm thinking about, looking at and hearing the past people that were talking, they're really hardcore Christians and stuff, and they're you shouldn't be hating people and all this stuff, and then they go ahead and start yelling at you and being all rude and doing all these things that go against all this stuff that they say that they should be doing. And honestly, I think you should get across what you're trying to say, and just I don't know, just I think what you're doing is good. Get your opinion out. And I mean, I came into this live. I am I have a mindset of you know what? There's no harm in believing in whatever, but I'm kind of questioning it now. You made some really good points over this. Yeah, but I kind of have to go to bed soon. But I just kind of wanted to voice my opinion to you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll go off so you can get to talking to other people.
All right.
Have a nice day.
You too. For the people in the comment section who are bitching and moaning that I was yelling, I didn't start yelling until that man waffled on questions. It's that simple. Pay closer attention to these conversations. I'm not going to start losing my temper until these people waffle on questions, fucking around, not being honest interlocutors, making needless analogies, just all this shit. If they can't be an honest interlocutor, then I'm not going to sit here and be all hunky-dory and sweet and kind. I'm not Mr. Rogers. And if you don't like my content, get the fuck out. It's just that simple. It's really easy. You don't have to be here. Scroll the fuck on. Moving on to the next guest request.
Hey, how we doing?
Pretty good yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. So to start off, I'm agnostic. Okay, so I do believe
Yep.
that there's a God that exists, of course.
That's not what agnostic is.
There's a higher power out there, basically.
Deist.
Yeah. So that's just what I go. I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate, if that's okay with you.
Shoot.
All right, but so so you're making some really good points. You know, I my so you I'm fumbling. I'm sorry.
All right. Take your time.
Thank you. So you said something about heaven. So I'm okay. I was raised and I was raised for 18 years in a Christian home. My parents were always Christian. I was brought to church every Sunday morning, Sunday night, and like Wednesday night. So basically you said something about hell not existing, like about it a little bit.
That is correct. In the first 4 centuries, hell did not exist as a part of the Christian doctrine.
Well, that was in the Greek Septuagint. There's a lot of mentions in the Bible of Hades.
No, there's not. Hades and Sheol, neither of which are described as hell. The description for hell comes from Jesus, who talked about the valley outside of Jerusalem called Gehenna, where they used to burn dead bodies in garbage. There is no reference to the modern understanding of hell in the Bible specifically.
What about when Jesus quoted when he said there's a place where the worm never stops eating and the
Gehenna.
teeth will gnashing. Yeah.
Gehenna. That's what he was talking about. The valley outside of Jerusalem where people burnt dead bodies, because the dead bodies they were largely burning were dead bodies of people who had died of disease, teeth gnashing. You're talking about like biblical style or biblical time diseases, leprosy, that kind of shit.
And like in Revelation.
Revelation is a retelling of the book of Rome, or the fall of Rome. It is not a prophetic book that talks about the end times.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I guess basically you believe your thing, right?
No, I get this from biblical scholars. I didn't dredge this up on my own. This isn't just my opinion.
I feel you. Yeah. Basically, I guess you believe your thing. There's no way, like anybody. I think you're like pretty firm set on what you believe. You don't believe that any God claims are true or anything, and there's no way of changing that. Only thing people can do is come on here and tell you what's happening. I think basically what this live is basically it's just two people standing at the points of what like they believe, and there's like no way of turning each other back.
The difference here is that my position is neutral. If tomorrow there was evidence of a God, I'd believe in that God. Christians won't make that same admission. There was a debate between the Creationist Museum and Art Park president Ken Ham and Bill Nye, the science guy. And in that debate, Ken Ham asked Bill Nye, if there was evidence of a God, would you believe in it? Bill Nye, to his credit, said, yes, I would. But Bill Nye did something pretty clever. He flipped the script on him. He asked, well, if there was absolute evidence that there was no God, would you stop believing? And Ken Ham waffled like a bitch and said, no, I would never stop believing. So there's the double standard. Yeah. I am in a pursuit of the truth. I am in a pursuit of knowledge. If God is part of that, so be it. But Christians or religious people in general have no interest in knowledge. They don't give a fuck. It's all about what they believe and how they feel.
Yeah. Well, right now, I'm just here to learn. You know, it's a learning experience for me. I'm like hella neutral. Like I don't have any beliefs basically, but I do believe there's a higher power. I'm just here to like learn stuff. But yeah, I've been Ken Ham. I mean, like if there was proof that there was absolutely no God, I guess, then I wouldn't believe, right? But I think as Christians, their standpoint is that there is a God, and there's no way like people can.
Well, they have to prove it. If they're going to make that claim, they need to provide the evidence. Otherwise, I have no reason to believe it.
Yeah, I know. And I think that's more of an emotional and mental connection rather than physical for them. So that's why and mental and physical doesn't mix. It's like two opposite things, right? So basically, mental you can't change somebody's mental state from a physical
Well,
like
when I have these conversations, it is never my intent to change the mind of the person I'm having the conversation with. Pew
yeah.
Research has proven that you can't change people's minds in a debate. The people in the comments, however, they're paying close attention. They're paying attention to my argument. They're paying attention to my opponent's arguments, and they're going to make up their mind for themselves, which one is the most rational. And I get comments, I get messages on the daily in my Instagram and here on TikTok that I've given people some influence, some things to think about, that I've changed to where their position was, and people are thanking me for what I'm doing on this platform. So I think it's worthwhile.
Yeah, so basically this whole live is you believing that you help people and everything.
Yeah,
And
we
you
need
know
to
what?
make
I'm all for that.
this
Yeah.
subject needs to be more acceptable for starters, socially speaking. And it's also to draw attention to the fact that this religion is literally in an effort to strip your rights from a legal perspective. There are evangelical Christians in political power today that are doing everything in their power to turn this country into a theocracy. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Ted Cruz, Greg Abbott, DeSantis, the 3 U.S. Supreme Court picks from Donald Trump. These people want biblical law in the United States, and they're working their way towards it. And if we just sweep this shit under the rug and ignore it, they're gonna get away with it.
Yeah. I mean, basically, I'm laissez-faire as fuck. Just let everybody do what they want, I
Yeah,
guess. Everybody
that's
do.
not a really good attitude to have.
Yeah.
You got to
I
pick a
mean,
side sometime.
I think it is because we are allowed to have
If
like
you're laissez-faire
religious.
about it, that means you're not fixing the problem. And if you're not a solution to the problem, you're actually a part of it.
I don't think that there is a
There's an
problem
old
though.
saying: the only
Yeah.
thing more evil than evil itself is the indifference of good men. Doing nothing makes you culpable.
Wait, so you're saying that Christianity as a whole is evil?
Yeah, the religion itself is evil, yes.
So people who believe that, like, what are some things they do that is like actively evil? As like a non-Christian would
Well,
see
keep in
that and
mind
be
that
like,
Christianity is left largely up to interpretation.
yeah,
Here
yeah,
in
yeah.
I live in Tempe, Arizona, just one half of, or like a couple miles down the road from me, in
Oh, that's
Mesa,
crazy.
Arizona, is a church ran by a man named Steven Anderson. Steven Anderson has been removed from the fly zone, or the fly. He can't fly into like a dozen countries in the world because years ago on social media, he publicly announced that it should be an American right and a Christian responsibility to murder gay people. Greg Locke, who is an evangelical hate preacher, right now is making videos of burning books and Harry Potter shit and Ouija boards. Yeah,
Well,
the religion
so
inspires evil, straight up.
in every group, I swear, in every single group, there's a small,
Except in this group,
yeah.
they make up 2/3 of the fucking country, and of Christians in the United States, evangelicals make up 27%, and they are the ones making policy. The everyday Christian who doesn't use their religion as a weapon or to be abusive ain't doing jack shit, except maybe voting for these fuckwits because, oh, they don't like abortion.
Well, I think
Religion leads to ignorance. Ignorance leads to suffering. That is just the fact of it. There's no way around it.
yeah, I think in every group, right? Hear me out. There is a small people who like are like morally in a non-Christian's like perspective is evil, that gives a bad rap to the whole like rest of the like like
Yeah,
group.
normally sure, but in this example,
Yeah.
the indifferent people are as bad as the evil ones. If they're not standing up against that evil, then they're assisting it. Imagine for a second you're walking down the street and you look down in an alleyway and you see a man beating the shit out of a woman and robbing her, and you just turn and walk away. Don't do shit to help. That makes you as bad, if not worse, than the man doing it in the first place.
I totally agree with that. But
So where are
like,
Christians? Where are all these good Christians who want to stand up and fight against these rotten, immoral, evangelical monsters? Where are they? Because they're not
okay.
doing it.
Well, hear me out. So my dad's my like family is basically in a church where we believe, right, that so okay, I don't believe this, right? But my dad believes that like what people in the LGBTQ, I personally don't have anything against them, but what LGBTQ people in the LGBTQ community is doing is wrong. Abortion is wrong, all that stuff, right? But if I came out as gay tomorrow to my dad, right, he'd still like accept me.
You sure about
But
that?
yeah, I'm sure
You
my
have any
brother
idea how many stories I've heard of children your age being kicked out of their fucking homes for coming out as gay?
I have a friend who actually lives with me who got kicked out of his house. My dad does not support the LGBTQ community. I'm saying is that there's a small portion of evil Christians,
I'm
quote
telling
unquote
you,
Christians. They're not Christian.
it doesn't matter if the bigger portion of good Christians don't do anything.
I think there is a bigger
They're not.
portions of
They're
Christians
not.
doing thing. But
They're not.
where's your evidence? You know,
If Christians, the main population of Christians who aren't extremists, were doing the right thing, Marjorie Taylor Greene and these fuckwits wouldn't be in office. People wouldn't be voting these ass clowns into office.
but that's not what.
There wouldn't
That's
be
not what I
religious
brought up.
laws being passed in Oklahoma and Texas and like every other fucking Christian red state in the country.
But you just said that all Christians basically. Okay, you're confusing me. I'm just saying that, you know,
If good
there.
Christians are doing anything, why then are evangelicals winning?
Why are evangelicals? Can you explain
Why
on
are
that,
the
please?
extremist, violent Christians winning? You said Christians are doing something. What? What are they doing? Regular, everyday, Joe Blow Christians. What are they doing to stop Christian extremism?
I don't know. My pastor, like, he preaches against it. He says it's not
So
good.
what?
We've had some people who came in to our church who
Here's the thing. You said your dad thinks abortion is wrong. That leads me to believe that he's going to vote Republican no matter what. Because he's voting Republican no matter what, he is tacitly endorsing Christian extremism.
Well, I don't think so. I think he actually like views the candidates. I don't think he like just goes hella Republican. If
they're against abortion, it's likely that they are Republican. I'm sorry, man. There are certain stigmas that you can give certain things. This is one of them. If somebody's against abortion, they will likely vote Republican. That's the political theater we're in right now.
Yeah, because they're against abortion.
Right. Well, it's so hard to explain to people. Well,
why wouldn't you vote for
the
somebody who's against
Christian
abortion?
Conservative Republican Party is the extremist evangelical party. And when you vote for them, you are endorsing them and their behavior.
So who are you supposed to vote for then?
It's a really good fucking question. Reassess your fucking priorities.
I guess.
In your dad's hope to ban abortion, he ain't thinking about the consequences. As soon as that baby's born, he probably doesn't give a shit about it. That's the behavior of most conservative Christians. They care
But
about it
you
when it's in the stomach.
can't.
They care about it when it's a fetus. But as soon as it's born, they don't want to pay a higher tax to help that child. They don't want to adopt that child. They don't want to do jack shit. They don't even want to pay for the education of that child.
But you can't say that most and then like
Yes, I
a
can.
certain group of I don't,
On
because
this
you can't say
platform,
most Republicans and then say it's just my dad.
on this platform, I cannot call out 240 million individual fucking Christians. I have to generalize them based on their behavior as a community. And as a community, they don't give a fuck about children. Here's five immediate consequences you will see if they ban abortion in the United States. One, female suicides will go through the roof. Some woman gets pregnant, feels trapped, feels she has no way out, already suffers from depression or anxiety. She will off herself. So you will see women's suicide go through the roof.
Poverty. Has it happened before?
Yes. Before Roe v. Wade was established, we had a lot of social issues, which is why they established Roe v. Wade in the first place. Second, domestic abuse will go through the roof. Infant mortalities will go through the roof. Women dying in childbirth and child pregnancy will go through the roof. And you will see poverty in a way you have never seen it before. In 2018, just over 600,000 abortions were performed. You ban abortion, you are adding 600,000 starving, impoverished children to American streets per year. It will collapse our entire fucking economy. Guarantee. So
I don't know.
Christians don't give a shit about those consequences. They don't give a fuck about the life of the mother. And as soon as that baby's born, they don't give a fuck about that child's life. They only care when it's a fucking fetus and they have something they can hold over a woman's head to control her body. Period.
Well, you can't. Okay, listen, hear me out. You can't say the mass group and then like characterize it as just like a you can't say all of them do when you don't know that because it hasn't happened before.
I am acting on their collective behavior as a community. No, I cannot call out, as I said, 240 million Christians on this app.
Yeah,
I'm going based off of their fucking behavior as a community. Generalization exists for a reason.
Yeah, I don't know, but I honestly, this is what I want to say. Like Christianity should I don't know. You shouldn't So are you trying to ban Christianity basically?
No.
No. Yeah, because
no, I just want it out of government. I want it out of politics. I want it out of public school. You want to be a Christian, be a fucking Christian, but recognize that that's your journey and it belongs to you, and you have no right to force that down somebody else's throat.
But that's the problem. Our country was founded on Christianity. So
no, it wasn't. Would you like me to pull up direct quotes from the founding fathers? Because I can pull up a book by Thomas Paine called The Age of Reason, where he is a scathing diatribe about the evils of religion in its involvement in government throughout history. And it was up to, and if it had been left up to Thomas Paine, you wouldn't have freedom of religion at all. He wanted to ban it entirely. The vast majority of the founding fathers were deists. They believed in a creator God that did not involve itself in human affairs. Benjamin Franklin rewrote the fucking Bible. It's called the Franklin Bible. It's literally in a fucking museum. You can look it up. Yeah, and we have letters upon letters upon letters from founding fathers stating specifically that this is not a Christian nation. It is not founded on Christian values, which is why we have the Establishment Clause in the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. We are not a Christian nation. We are a pluralistic nation. We are a nation of multiple nations with multiple different cultures and religious beliefs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have to do some more research. I came very unprepared to hear.
I highly recommend you read The Age of Reason by Thomas Paine. You can find it on Amazon.
Yeah. I will do.
Also, the founding
Yeah.
myth by the constitutional lawyer Andrew Seidel, who, by the way, also has a TikTok and a podcast.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely look into it. I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna come back to you maybe like tomorrow night, maybe,
Sure.
and then we'll talk then. All right.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. I need to go to sleep. Thank you, bro. I love you.
Get some bed, man.
Love what you're doing, bro. See you.
Thank you.
Really quick, before I get into the next guest, up here at the top of my page, I have my Venmo and I have my Cash App. If you like the content and you want to donate, I appreciate it. If not, you can tell me to go fuck myself. I understand.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can.
How's it going?
Oh, pretty well. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Just trying to figure out why my camera won't turn on.
Oh, don't worry. I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, so I'm just coming in to tell you I really appreciate what you're doing, because I feel like politics and religion is bringing this country down, you know? I think we're kind of heading towards some sort of I don't know how to explain it really, but
I understand what you're saying. I mean, they just ran a poll a few weeks ago. It's more than 60% of Americans think we're headed for a civil war in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And you know who's going to spark it? Christians. Christians are going to spark.
Yeah,
Christians
exactly.
are going to spark that war.
And that's why I appreciate this shit, because look, you got like what, 200, almost 300 people on right now. Like last week, you had like 1,000 people on. You're spreading awareness to this situation.
Trying to.
And
if that could reach a larger target audience, to be honest with you. But with that comes more of a pain in the ass and more of a headache. So maybe I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like a podcast like Joe Rogan did or some shit, you know?
That's what I'm aiming for, but that takes a lot of money, and I've thought about crowdfunding it, but I mean, I don't know how legitimate that's going to be. I've made an attempt at that in the past, and it got nowhere. So, I mean, I have a lot of people in my comments and in my messages who want me to do a podcast and YouTube channel, and I would love to. I really would, but I just don't have the money or the setup for it right now.
Yeah, that would be pretty kick-ass. How much do you think that would cost?
Well, for a decent fucking computer that I can use for video editing and audio editing, because all I have right now is a shitty $200 laptop from Walmart that I bought so I could watch fucking anime and Hulu, which didn't even work. I had to take this thing to a buddy of mine, and he had to put more RAM in it so that I could handle fucking processing the internet. I would need a whole, I have a mic that I like. I like the mic I have. I don't have a good camera other than my phone. And I would probably need, I don't know, raise $1,000 and I can get the whole fucking everything I need set up.
I would be willing to help out with something like that. If you got like
Go ahead.
What do you call that? GoFundMe, something like that, you know? I would help try to spread the word as well. Because I think that would be, I don't know, really beneficial.
It's something I do plan on working. I can't really do it right now because I'm moving out of my apartment in March, and I'm moving in with a friend of mine. She has a spare bedroom she's going to rent me. Eventually in the future, that is the goal. I don't want to start anything yet until I know that I'm settled.
Right.
And then I'll maybe try to focus on it then.
You know, before I converted to, like, not really converted, but like you kind of brought me to the realization, not you and Nick kind of helped me brought to the realization that I am an atheist, you know, because I need proof, and I'm not gonna have a book, you know, rewritten I don't know how many times, tell me what to do, you know, and how that relates with what's going on now.
Yeah.
And how it's destroying us.
I agree, brother. If there's some resources you want, go on YouTube and you can look up the Atheist Experience. It's a call-in show. You know, they're doing basically the same thing I'm doing, but they do it on YouTube, and it's a much bigger production than what I have, and they do a very good job. They've been doing it for a long time, and there's all kinds, like Matt Dillahunty is a really good resource on YouTube. The Thinking Atheist is a podcast.
Can you add me back as a friend so that I can hit you up? Because I have a TBI and I don't have something to write down right now. So if I can hit you up on a message.
There you go. I followed you back so you can message me.
Sweet. I will definitely hit you up on getting some information. All right. Hell Satan. Good. Thanks, bro.
Ave Katanas, my friend.
All right. Let's get into the next one. Alberta.
Hey, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. How about yourself?
Both the same, man. I was gonna say how are you because you get that like 1,000 times. So I thought, how's it going? It was too much. So yeah, I got a claim that you're gonna agree with, and it's gonna be the only one you agree with. You ready for this?
Okay. Yep.
God is evil.
I agree.
This is my understanding. You may or may not agree with this part of it, but this is how I view it: is God was the creation of man when man didn't understand the world. Now that we understand the world, God is a relic that needs to be put back in the past and gone with.
Agreed.
That's my whole piece. That's what I waited half an hour to say to you, but that's okay. I don't mind.
I agree. Yeah. Early Christians didn't understand earthquakes, hurricanes, lightning, thunderstorms, so they started giving those things human agency, which is why all of the original old gods appear to look human in their descriptions. Exactly. And then the instant that somebody stood up and said, I speak for God or the gods, it became a long con, and it became a method of control and manipulation.
And power, yeah. Yeah, totally agree. And that's what's so sad about it, is that they literally used people's lack, or I won't say ignorance because it wasn't ignorance. It was literally lack of understanding and lack of knowledge, which wasn't ignorance because they didn't have the information to be able to be smarter, and use that against them to be able to manipulate the situation to their benefit, which created the elitist society that we still have today. And most of the people that are in power today, I'm sure, I can't prove it obviously, but I'm sure lead back to the people that ran the world way back when. Right. So I think there's a lot of things that were manipulated and trickery, and a lot of things that was very useful to people that had that little bit extra of understanding. I won't say a lot, but a little bit extra to manipulate situations into their benefit, which led to the governments and the style of living we have today, which is why we have so many Christians and stuff, is because they still don't understand that, yes, God was a great thing in the past, and it might have helped in the past. I'm not saying it was good, but it might help for the lack of understanding in the past. But now we know that it's not right. We know that there's a lot of things out there that can be explained that was originally God, but is actually factually not God. So let's pass the God thing. Let's get past the whole deity did it and be like, okay, no, actually there's a reasoning behind it that's logical. Until you can prove that this God legitimately did those things, we cannot say that anymore, right? Like the flood, we could probably prove why the flood happened, right? Like
the emperor's favorite toy. The emperor's favorite toy is religion.
Yes.
If he can use religion to manipulate the masses, the emperor can maintain power and control.
Always. Yep.
Well, thank you for your
So
insight, man. I appreciate your opinion.
yeah, no, and I love what you do. I don't always agree with everything you say. It's very, very few things, but for the most part, I'm 100% with you. I started off with a Christian/Catholic family, and when I started questioning, that's what actually, here, I'll give you a quick story because I've waited. They always preached everything about God, and God was good, and God was good. But then when they taught us the stories of the bad things God did, all of a sudden, when I asked, well, how come that was good, they couldn't explain it. It's like, well, you
Yeah.
said he was good, he was good, but then he massacred people because he didn't agree, and that's what leaders do when they don't agree, and that's what wars are. So how come he's good, but no one else is good for Canada death? And I understood it at 5 years old. That was my very first question. And from there, I was always criticized by people in my family, people around me for that. And then I luckily had a couple family members that were Christian, but were a lot more open-minded, that said, these are great questions and we don't have answers for them. And you might have a way of finding it out for yourself. For now, we don't know. So we're just not going to give you an answer. And that was a proper answer that I'm glad those family members gave me. So
I agree with you, man.
I hope that, and I hope that more people would be like that. I mean, if you don't have an answer, that's fine. You don't have to have an answer to everything. I think that's what the problem with Christian religion is they try to have an answer for everything, and whether it's logical or illogical, and they need to stop. If you don't know, it's fine. Just move on.
Good night. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful night. Again, very much thank you for the support. I appreciate that too.
Yeah, no problem. If I had more money, man, I would also give you some money. I should be getting some money here, hopefully in April. So when I do, I will be cashing. I know you don't need it.
If people can't afford to donate, I don't want them to donate. I don't want to be a burden on people who are already struggling.
Yeah, no, that's why I said if things will hopefully get better for me in April, then I would like to give you a few dollars. I can't give you much, but a few. I would like that because I understand I have a family member that's going through kidney failure and dialysis. He goes through every 3 times a week, so it's almost every second. Yeah, so he has total kidney failure. He's had heart surgery, and he has something else. He has diabetes, and so he's really suffering really bad. So I totally get the kidney failure. I understand some of the challenges that you may be going through. So keep strong, man. I know that there's gonna be days that are really rough, and that you'd feel drained. And I understand that this is a way to help. I understand. I can see some of the days where you are drained. Keep going, man. You're doing awesome. I hope that you get healthy, and hopefully things get better for you.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. I'm gonna keep watching, but have fun.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, man.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Just barely, yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me turn my heater up. Hold on. My bad. It gets cold up here. Oh, shit. Ouch. So I'm just saying, I've been on here for a little bit, and I've been listening to you, and I know some of those people earlier was pissing you the fuck off, man. And,
it happens when they walk along questions and shit.
Right, I get you. I get the same way. Like, so I can't even be mad at you for it, for real. There's so much stuff that like goes through my head whenever I'm listening to these conversations between you guys. Like, there's different points like that come into my head. So like, I mean, do you mind if I just like just ask you? Because man, see, look, my head don't work quite like it used to. I've had like some serious fucking head trauma. So like, bear with me if you can, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Like, damn it, I need a drink. Hold on. Give me a second, man. I'm sorry. Shit. All right. So, in these conversations that you have with these people, well, fuck all that. I heard you earlier whenever you were saying about how you said that, about God being jealous. And, he even admits to being a jealous God.
Yep.
And then in Psalms, it says about like what love is and what love is not. And then it says in that love is not jealous. And then, like you said, with all of the things that the God of the Old Testament has done, like, I agree with you that if that is God, that's not a God that I want to worship.
Correct.
I personally believe that the God of the Old Testament is Satan, or what people would consider Satan, if that's a thing. You know what I mean? If that's really a thing.
Well, I mean, that's how the book of Adam and the book of Judith described the Christian God, but those books weren't added to the Bible.
Right. Well, I mean, it's, to me, it seems like this is just, I mean, maybe I didn't understand what you just said. Like I said, I'm kind of slow now. Like I've been fucked up, man. But to me, just even based off of what is in the Bible, like as it is, it still seems like that dude's a dick, you know? And I mean, and the son or whatever, you know, Jesus. I personally, I'm just saying, this is what I believe. I'm not putting it on you or anything like that at all. I mean, I believe that maybe he existed in some way, shape, or form, and I don't know if he was necessarily the son of God. But if he was the son of God, I don't believe that it was the God of the Old Testament. I think that dude got skipped, basically.
Thing is, I don't think anybody has any good excuse to believe anything the Bible says.
Right. I understand that, man. I do. I'm not like I said, I'm not projecting my beliefs or anything like that. I'm just like talking to you as thinking. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
maybe my thinking is wrong or some shit. But I mean, there are some things that I can understand if you think about it outside of the box. You know, instead, like, not because I don't believe in. I'm not a religious person. I
Yeah.
personally, I've had experiences that have made me, you know, like, I've felt things before that, you know, that make me look up to the sky and, you know, make me feel like there's something out there. But um, I'm not necessarily, you know, scripture by scripture by scripture shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like that. But, and I do agree with you that religion itself has brought the world to a fucking collapse or a decay.
Yeah.
Talk to me, man. Like, 'cause seriously, like, I got on here earlier and I was just listening to you talk and stuff, and I'm like, okay, dude's pissed. Somebody pissed him off. But then
Well,
then I saw you started talking to people who were a little bit more rational, and, you know, a little bit more who they weren't trying to talk over you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I
And
try
like,
to be fair with
yeah,
this. I lose my. I get frustrated. I don't get pissed. I get frustrated
right. I understand.
when I ask somebody a question and they waffle on it.
What does that mean? You mean like just
So,
kind
like,
of
well,
like
here's
start
a
like
good
getting
example.
floppy?
Waffle means that they obfuscate. They don't answer the question directly. They
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
say
understand.
something else that's tangentially related to the question, but not an actual answer. So,
Right.
like, for instance, a perfect example of this was last week when I was live. I asked a gentleman if he thought it was justice that an innocent person or a good person should be punished for all of eternity,
Well,
because that's a part of Christian doctrine.
is it?
And he just wouldn't answer the question. He went off on a tangent talking about Hitler. Had nothing to do with the question I asked.
Yeah, it
So
seems
when I
kind of
run into
bogus.
stuff like that, I tend to lose my patience.
Right. I understand that. I get that. I get like that with people on a day-to-day basis almost, man. I start snapping the fuck out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get, man. I got, like I said, I yeah, my head ain't quite right no more. So like, I used to be a lot different, man. I look back and I think like, holy shit. I remember the difference of where I'm not trying to talk to me. talk about. I just want you to understand like my mental state. So
Man, it's
I
fine.
don't.
It's just as long as you're doing what you can
Yeah.
to just be better than you're fighting the fight.
Yeah. I hear you. But like I miss having conversations with people that I can actually have conversations with. And that was one thing that I noticed with you earlier, that you were having frustrations with these people because they weren't there. They were just trying to spew their shit to you, and they weren't
Yeah,
actually. I mean, like I don't know about some of these things that you're talking about, but I do find it fascinating.
I
Um,
appreciate that. I really am thankful for your support.
you're welcome, man. I
You have yourself
I
a
don't know.
wonderful night, man. Keep up the good
You
fight.
too. I appreciate it, man. You as well. Take care of yourself.
You too, brother. All righty.
Oh, fuck, stretch. Oh, that one didn't. Let's go to the next. Hey, Nettabug. Yeah, I only talk to people who validate my ego. Okay. Then I tell you what, you go find 1,000 followers, get the ability to go live, come here and send in a guest request and see if you can do better. Come in here and do better, Elizabeth. Stuart, come in here and do better. Go put out content, earn 1,000 followers, come in here and do better. If you can't, then who gives a Looks like we're back to having connection issues here. Well, all of my current guests, I just tried letting you in, Walkie Duck, and it disconnected. I don't know what you want from me. Keep sending requests, but I'm too dumb to figure out how to make it happen. You don't have 1,000 followers. How are you trying to send requests without 1,000 followers? You have to have 1,000 followers on your account in order to go live. If Walkie
Minor, I'm kicking you. I'm tired. I'm just not doing minors. I'm not talking to underage kids, man.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I don't agree. I don't agree with you at all. I'm convinced in my religion, Christianity, Orthodoxy, and I think God is real, and
Prove it.
God is letting these evil things happen because to make our belief even stronger. For example, when you're
Wrong.
working on something, and
Evil
you run across a
does
problem,
not
you don't stop
increase.
working. You try to
Are
solve the
you here
problem,
to have
right?
a conversation, or are you here to proselytize?
I'm here to have a conversation. I'm
Okay, so you made a
speaking my
couple of
opinion.
claims and I'm trying to address them. Are you going to answer them, or are you going to keep talking?
I'm gonna address them, but first you
Okay.
gotta finish. Let me finish talking too.
This is not a place for you to proselytize, man. You want to fucking proselytize, make your own account, make your own videos, do your own thing.
You want to have a conversation, a normal conversation.
You said God
People in
exists. I
conversations,
said
people
prove
let
it.
each other talk.
You said God exists. I said
Yes.
prove it.
Okay. During questioning on the 19th January, when Jesus was a Christian in River Jordane, right? In the River Jordane on this day,
Didn't I
eating
talk to you
his
last night?
yes.
You're saying the exact same shit you said last night. You haven't changed anything. It's like you're reading from a script.
I'm not reading from a script.
You're reading something because this is almost
also,
verbatim exactly what you said to me last night.
Okay, can I ask you a question now? I could not prove that God is real. Can I ask you a question?
Go.
Prove that God is not real.
I never said that.
You say that I'm not convinced that any God claims are God
I
claims
never
are true.
said there was no God. I said I'm not convinced
And
that there is a God.
Atheist, right?
Huh?
Are you atheist?
I am an atheist, an agnostic atheist. Agnosticism is a claim to knowledge. I do not know if there is and is not a God. And atheism is a claim to belief. I am not convinced that there is a God. It is not the position that there is no God.
Okay, but I think there's a God, and maybe I can't prove it, but I have a faith in it, and
Faith is not a pathway to the truth. Faith leads to ignorance.
For me, it is. It is my faith is a path to the truth. And
no, it is not a pathway to the truth. So, I assume you're a Christian.
Yes, I am.
You have
Orthodox.
faith. You're a Christian. Hold on. Pay attention. Pay attention. You're a Christian that has faith in your God. A Muslim they have faith in their God. Which God is the right God?
Mine, because I believe it.
Yeah, well, the Muslim believes it too.
Lots of miracles have been happening by the name of my God, but people refuse to. Why wrong?
Miracles happen in every religion, not just Christianity.
For me, it has happened.
Your personal experience is not evidence.
Can I finish? When I was 3, I was in a very need of surgery, and my parents paid to get the money that we needed to get the surgery. And after long nights of praying, we finally got financial needs that we needed to do my surgery.
Good. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. You think you're the only person on the earth that went through that? Do you think your story is the only one?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm one of them.
Do you think maybe there's a kid out there who probably got a surgery as the result of a fundraiser that was held by atheists?
It could be, but we.
It is. It isn't just a matter of it could be. It is. Your prayers to God for money had nothing to do with you actually getting it. People are kind to each other and they help each other out all the fucking time.
Not
your personal
everyone
experience
is kind,
and regardless of the money thing, your personal experience is not evidence of a God.
Why is not why?
Because it's personal experience. It's not evidence.
A man, human learns from his mistakes, from his personal past, from his personal life, learns from it. Learns from what he did, that he shouldn't have done, that it was wrong. That's the evidence. The coincidence of his action is
and we also
evidence.
learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
Or at least we're supposed to. So again, like in the court of law, we don't go based solely. We don't convict people based solely on eyewitness testimony, because eyewitness testimony is unreliable. There has to be corroborating evidence to go with it, because your experience is not reliable.
Also, how would you explain this?
Okay, we're done. Sorry, you're not interested in a conversation. You're interested in reading a script. I'm not going to talk to you again. Stay off my channel.
I make a point and you just
Sorry, right past. Completely fucking ignored what I just said. No, that's not an intellectually honest conversation.
Can you
Anyway,
hear me okay?
how's it going, my friend?
Not bad. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm on satellite, so there's quite a bit of a lag.
Got you.
So there's a lot of conversation in here, and one thing I'm going to make clear, I am a Christian. One thing I'm also going to make clear, religion is fucking retarded.
Okay. The definition of the word religion is the definition of the word religion is believing in a god or gods.
Yeah, but it's also used to gain power over people too.
It
So
always
I get
has
where you're
been.
coming from.
All belief in all gods at one point in time or another been a weapon used against other people.
Absolutely. So that being said, I've actually been, this is like the 50th time I have joined to try and get to talk to you. I don't know what's going on with my phone, but and all this waiting, I've been listening to you talking to other people and everything. And my question is, with your life and everything, what do you choose to do with your life? Is it being a good person? Is it helping people out? Or is there another goal to your life?
It's a combination of all of those things. Basically, if you break it all down, it's my own personal enjoyment. In this live, the reason I have this channel, the reason I make this content is to help somebody. Somebody needs to hear what I have to say. I get messages from people all the time in regards to it, but I find enjoyment in doing so.
I can understand that 100%. And there's one thing I will say is, even though I believe in God, I spend the majority of my time proving to Christians that they're stupid. I had one pastor just a week ago that literally waved donuts in his congregation space, guilting them into coming into church. And so in reality of it, I don't have much different of an opinion than you do. The only literal difference between how you live and how I live is I do it, in my opinion, for my God. However, if you feel that way in your life, you are literally a better Christian without doing it for God than 99% of the ones that go to church.
Except I find it to be disingenuous, disrespectful, and just a little unethical that anybody would need a God in order to behave in an appropriate fashion. It diminishes what it means to be a human being and to be alive.
Well, I understand that, and I'm not going to disagree with you in that fact. The only reason why I feel, or at least I believe in a God, I look at the Bible in one aspect. It's literally a biography or autobiography, whatever the word is for it, of a bunch of different people, experiences of history. That doesn't mean that it's 100% true. I read some things in it, and a lot of Christians will look at it and they'll pick out little scriptures here and there, and well, this is what I think, and it's what they use to give excuses for their actions. Yes?
Question. If you don't believe in the religion or the Bible, why do you believe in a God at all?
The only reason why I believe it is because of how perfectly everything in nature works together.
So you think intelligent design exists?
Say that again?
So you think intelligent design and fine tuning exist?
Is that a yes? Yes. Sorry, I didn't understand your question first.
Okay. Nothing about reality is fine tuned. Your body is not fine tuned. Your eyeballs are upside down and backwards. The left side of your brain operates the right side of your body. The right side of your brain operates the left side of your body. You have appendices and wisdom teeth that can go infected and kill you at a moment's notice. 90+% of your DNA is junk DNA that does absolutely nothing except potentially make you sick. And it's a very small, tiny amount of your DNA that actually decides your height, weight, eye color, hair color, your disposition, your personality. And the things that give you life on this rock that we live on are the very things that kill you over time. Sunlight, gravity, the atmosphere. Nothing about this is fine-tuned. And keep in mind also, you live on a planet where 99
And there goes the fucking internet.
0.9% of all species that ever on this planet have gone extinct. Nothing about this is fine-tuned.
Sir, have you repented for your sins yet?
I'm not going to. I'm not a sinner.
Sir,
I
you
don't
can
believe
still
sin.
make it to heaven.
I'm not a sinner. I don't
You,
believe sin
you don't.
exists. I don't believe in heaven. I
How
don't
dare
believe in
you, sir?
hell.
How dare you?
I know it's so terrible.
How dare you? My lord. Exorcism. This
Yes.
is
Well, what can I
exactly
do
why the
for you, my
Catholic Church
son?
has exorcists. My
He
lord,
is a
I'm
troll.
trying
I
to
know he's
save
a
you,
troll,
and you're
but
making a
I
mockery.
know he's a troll, but he's kind of he's kind of cute, I guess, in a way. I mean, he's the funniest troll I've ever fucking had. So there's that.
How dare you call me cute?
You're
You stick
adorable.
to the truth, and the truth is, I am ugly as a mule. I am not cute. I am ugly because it was my destiny. It was God's will for me to be ugly, and you know that. Do 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 not insult the
Oh
Lord's
my
word
God.
by calling me cute. When you know it's
Oh,
the truth, I am not.
oh. Oh,
My pastor will hear about this. I'm
okay.
filing a formal grievance against you. Formal. And I'm going to deliver it in a suit as well.
Oh. I don't even know what to say to that.
Sir, there's only one of two places, heaven and hell.
Honestly,
You
I
better
think
make
at
a
this
choice.
point, I think
See,
at this,
the Lord
I
has
think at this point
froze
that
you.
you're just satire. Like, I think you are satire. You are the Onion version of a Christian.
How dare you call me satire? How dare you make a mockery and a laughing matter of this?
You gonna send your pastor?
I don't need to send my pastor. God sees all. God sees all. His will is omnipresent.
Wow.
When you're in line
I'll
at
be sure to
Walmart,
say a prayer later before bed and ask him to spank me.
when when you, when you're in line at Walmart buying your PBR, God sees you. When you're
I
at
don't
the
buy
NASCAR
PBR. PBR
racetrack
is gross.
and you don't buy PBR.
No, fucking
Well,
American beer is disgusting. I drink real beer.
American beer. Sir, American beer is blessed by God. Don't you ever use those harsh words again.
Is that
You
why
keep
it tastes
laughing
like
as if this
piss?
is a laughing matter. When Jesus returns and you are not part of the rapture in the air, don't beg for my help. Don't. I told you so. You're going to be begging when those four horsemen arrive.
Am I?
Yes, behold. Don't make me remind you of Revelations. And his name that sat on him was death.
I don't think I'll be begging.
Oh, You say that now, but the end of days is nigh, Fairchild.
Yeah, but I'm not much for beg kink, I mean, I guess it's kind of cute when when you have a really cute girlfriend that does the beg stuff, but it doesn't really work for my personality. I'm not much of a beggar.
Oh, you will beg for God's mercy before the end, when the gates of hell
I
are
will do
upon
no
you.
such thing, sir.
You
How dare
you
you?
will. How dare you steal my line? Do not steal my material. Okay, the Lord intended for me to have that line and no one else. You have betrayed his will once again. How many sins are you going to commit?
I don't sin. Sin doesn't exist.
Sir, do I have to get Jesus on the line? Do I have to do
Yeah,
that?
you really, really do need to get Jesus on the line. I have a few fucking words for him.
He has done nothing but made your life better and great, and you show no
Science made my life
appreciation for what
better
he's
and
done
great.
for you. Oh, science? Really? Where does science come from? Tell me that.
Observation and experimentation.
I think not. Absolutely not. Well, why don't you read Zechariah 24:57 and learn that science comes from God's subscription to
Nothing
popular
from the
mechanics?
Bible is scientific.
How dare you say science is independent of the Lord? I will get John
Dude,
Hagee
I
and
have
Billy
to know, man.
Graham
Do
on
you
the phone.
actually make content on this platform? Because if you make content, I will subscribe to your channel and follow you. I swear to God.
Oh, the Lord is my content. I don't need to make it. It's everywhere all the time. Your salvation is nigh.
I need you to make content on this app so that I can enjoy it
Oh,
for
you
my
don't
own
want me to
pleasure.
make contact.
I do want you to make
Oh,
content.
you want an exorcism? Are you
Sure.
formally requesting an exorcism? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see about that. I'll get my Bible in Latin. Not even Greek.
Spank me, Daddy.
I'll get the
Spank me.
Latin one. No, you must pay extra for that. But for now, the Lord is near, and you must repent. How dare you? Oh my God. What an abomination. Lord, please hold on. I have to get the oh my Lord. Okay, my heart is oh my God. The mockery of the Trinity. Do you want the Holy Ghost to invade your home? How dare you possess something of such
I want the Holy
abomination?
Ghost to invade my butthole.
I bet you have a subscription to Hustler magazine as well. I've seen you on Christian Mingle before. Don't think I don't know your intent. Oh, so you are going to laugh about it. You you were trying to lure Catholic schoolgirls off Christian Mingle into your lair under the guise of blessing them, and you were going to
No.
bring out the whips and chains.
Only if they're college age.
My Lord, you don't know which one of the 7 hells you're going to reside in. You will regret this one day.
I know exactly if there's a hell where I'm going. It'll be with the philosophers, the thinkers,
The philosopher.
and
Which
gay hell.
philosopher? Name one.
I'm definitely going to gay hell. I'm going to, yeah, that's a thing. I want to
Sir,
spend all of
sir, you will
eternity
be
with a bunch of super sexy gay guys. That's what I want to do.
Oh no. You will be relegated to the closet of Ellen DeGeneres as she tells bad jokes on
Oh,
MSNBC.
no, that's horrible.
That's going to be your fate. God will force you to listen to Ann Coulter
No,
recite misquotes from Benjamin Franklin.
not Ann Coulter. Isn't she a closeted lesbian anyway?
How dare you? How dare you throw around these concepts? I mean, a man shall not lie with another man. Ecclesiastes 14:17.
I thought Jesus had a subscription to suckmydick.com.
Wow. How dare you speak such about the Holy One? The Holy One. He has done nothing to
How
you.
dare you, sir? How
He
dare
has
you?
given you
How dare you?
salvation. Oh, stealing my material once again. Going against God's will.
How
I have
dare
that
you come on
trademark.
my live and make me laugh?
I'm telling you, people like you are the reason why I have 14 crosses in my driveway. Okay, just to protect me from people like you.
Damn, I thought for a second you were going to say they were in a tub under your bed. Kinky.
No, if you want the dong shaped like a cross, that costs extra. But for now, I'm keeping the regular ones for people like you.
You gonna spank me?
Sir, the Holy Ghost will spank you with his word. He will spank you with his holy water, and you will feel the healing power, and you will be born again.
All right, man. I
You
appreciate you,
laugh.
dude. Thanks
You
for coming
laugh.
on. Brokeback Church. Good one. Well, we at least got a couple of chuckles out of it, right? Some lividity. That's one, that's a good thing. Oh, excuse me. Lizard Queen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know what I came into just now. What did I just come into?
He showed up. He showed up earlier in the live, and I wasn't sure what to make of him. But the second time he came in, it was pretty obvious that he was there to kind of get a laugh out of people, and it was really good.
Oh, I loved it. I was like, wait. Is this a joke? Please tell me it's a joke. And then I was thinking, if say homosexual was a sin, isn't there like that thing in the man's, you know what, and you know who?
Yeah, he was
Like
awesome.
I gave him a follow, but I also wanted to come on and say I am gonna try to donate some by the end of the month for you. I got your Cash App down, and I just wanted to tell you that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're
So you
welcome.
think what I'm
I'm
doing is worthwhile then?
Actually, yes, and even as a pagan, I've heard your say on the opinion of Norse paganism. I could honestly care less. You are not only helping women's rights, which I know sometimes you believe that in man's opinion doesn't really matter. But honestly, I respect it because you're fighting for people's lives at risk, and I honestly am. I look up to you a little bit about with that.
I appreciate it, and I don't like to see suffering and I don't like to see suffering from any group of people. I realize that to some extent there is a lot of gatekeeping in various communities.
Oh, very. I've
Um,
seen it
so
earlier today with somebody
yeah,
claiming that witchcraft is fake and modern medicine is fake, but you know what a thyroidism is, right? Like a hypothyroidism, hyper.
yeah. A thyroid issue is an autoimmune issue.
Yep, I actually have no thyroid, so like I'm just like you do realize if I don't take my medicine, I could die, right? Like, and he's kept telling people to
Yeah,
go on the
yeah.
vegan diet, and I was just like, this is crazy. This is crazy how people think. And you know, sometimes you just need to have
I'm
respect and a little bit
glad I
of
didn't stumble.
research. Oh, it was
Yeah, if
awful.
I'd have seen that guy in the
It
comment
was
section, my head would have exploded.
Oh, it was the blight, right? Like the hypocrisy on like people who are going through medical issues, mental issues, saying that they need to turn. I'm like, you know, maybe if that's your belief, but if you want help, these are the helps that your God is providing to you and to his children.
Well, I think it's a little hypocritical for people who likely are not dealing with some medical condition to sit there and tell somebody else how to handle it. It's like a Catholic
Oh,
priest giving marriage advice.
Exactly. And I'm just like, you know, at the end of the day, can't we just all have respect for each other and maybe research a little bit and maybe just maybe for once we can actually work together as a team.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh God, yeah. It, it's just and I'm not usually good at debates and I'm not the most knowledgeable person that you could go to when it comes down to it, but for somebody who's had experiences, like at the end of the day, we leave each other alone. Let us do you do you believe in you. If you have a medical condition, you need to get what you need done and do what you need done, just like you. I'm also a 1099, so I know the struggle personally, especially without a thyroid.
Yeah. And yeah, the thyroid issue falls into the same family as the disease that took my kidneys. It was an autoimmune disease.
And it scares me every day. And on top of that, with the abortion laws, like there's nothing more than I want to be than to be a mother. I want to be a mother, but like I spoke with my boyfriend about it, and he's like, you know, I would rather have you be healthy than to lose your life and my child not having a mother. And he's like, I will
Or
offer to
adopt.
pay for it. Oh,
Try to
I'm
adopt.
gonna go through that field. Yeah, once I get a little more sustained in my life and you know the financial situation is over. Akuna Maple, I saw that. When I get my more
Yeah.
like, you know, ready in the future, I might actually look into adoption because I don't know my chances of being able to be a mom and you know, I want to live through it at
Well, I
least
mean,
once.
to be honest, even if you were healthy, I'd probably give you that advice anyway. The reason being is pregnancy is difficult on a healthy body, much less how
Oh
difficult it
yeah,
would
no,
be
I
for
know.
somebody in your position. And there are
And
children that need homes.
exactly, and I would love to get like I love all children of all ages. I don't know if you know what age aggression is, but I go through that due to the, a little bit of trauma, so it helps me with coping mechanisms. Um, and I go and help other people. Like I just at least like if I could
I
at least help a child go through it and fix themselves, I would feel like a better person
I
at the end of the
personally hate
day.
kids. I personally hate kids, and I will not get into a relationship where I am involved with children ever again.
Oh no, I have that part of my side too. I hate people in general and kids, especially if they're not, I may be young, but I had discipline in my life where I learned from right from wrong and wrong and respect other people for who they are.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for your support, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah. I just keep doing what you're doing, and honestly, I think at least to me, you are protected in the pagan community. Like we absolutely love you. I know a few people who love you that, you know, are on other channels and just be like, adore Ethan and what he does.
Thank you so very much.
I will let you know when I do that payment. It's gonna probably take, I might be able to do it at the beginning of the month, at least put a little bit of it, but
Well,
it's
here's the
going to be
thing.
the
I don't
same
I
as
don't
my
want you to
username here.
I don't want you to hurt yourself. Like, I don't want people who are struggling
Oh
donating to
no,
me
I'm okay.
because
I'm okay. I live with my mom. I've been having my mom help me, you know. I still got a little bit of ways to go, and I'm actually getting a whole lot better than when I am. Like my levels have gone down, and you know, I'm getting better for me before it gets way too late into this.
all right.
I'd
Thank
like to
you.
help other people. Yeah. Well, have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too as well.
We don't really have any guest requests right now. I'll give it a little while and then maybe we will restart the live to kind of refresh everything. So, really quick, before we go anywhere else with this, up here is my Venmo and here's my Cash App. If you feel like my content is worth a few bucks, I'd appreciate a donation. If not, you can, friend me on Instagram and tell me to go fuck myself. Yes, I will answer questions in the comments, provided I can keep up with the comments. Do you ever get threats? No, not usually. People don't threaten me. Unless it's with hell. In fact, I get threatened with hell all the time. What proof do you need that God exists? Well, I don't know. I don't know what that would look like. But if I do know this, if there was an all-knowing God, that God would know what it would take to convince me. Thank you. Can you explain Christian hazing a little bit? I'm not really sure what that is. Oh. Asked. Oh, so there are these question boxes. We'll see. Not sure. Where the question comment would be. I don't know. Weird. What's your favorite show or documentaries, etc. at the moment? Right now, my favorite show is an anime called Ari Furuta. Do you have patience to talk to autistic people? Sure, I do. Super Bowl prediction. I was thinking about putting money on Los Angeles because I live in Arizona, so all I have to do is download DraftKings, which I'm thinking about doing, and putting a few bucks. Actually, I might put a few dollars down on, like, whichever team has the worst odds, just to see if I can't win some money. I don't give a shit one way or the other. I don't like the Bengals, and I don't like, or who is it? Since it's Bengals and the Rams. I don't care either way. I mean, honestly, I thought it was going to be Green Bay or some other goofy shit. Rams are favored. That's what I heard earlier today. Do I like living in Arizona? I love living in Arizona. I don't DoorDash. I hate DoorDash. I still do Lyft, though. I don't believe in Zodiacs. I think they're bullshit. I watch all kinds of anime. I'm a huge anime buff. I love anime. Pineapple on pizza is disgusting. Yes, Arizona is a perfect motorcycle state, except for like 2 months in the summertime. It literally, it's like riding inside of an oven. It fucking actually hurts. But other than that, 10 months out of the year, it's a perfect motorcycle. So, top 10 anime. Chivalry of a Failed Knight. Sword Art Online. That Time I Reincarnated as a Slime. The world's greatest assassin is reincarnated as an aristocrat. Inuyasha, Naruto, Bleach. Whoa. Banished from the Hero's Party. Ari Furuta. And Your Lie in April. Favorite band artist? Honestly, I just like genre music. I don't know that I like a specific band or artist. I like some rock, very little metal, 90s country. Baki is a good anime too, yeah. Have you ever tried? Yes, I've watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I wasn't impressed. Full Metal Alchemist, both the original and the Brotherhood were very good. Demon Slayer is very good. I've never watched Tales of Legion. Adventure Time, no. I'm not much for Adventure Time. I hate the animation. Some of Data Live I got into, but not really. Hunter x Hunter was really good. I did enjoy that one. Cautious Hero. Oh my god. That was such a ridiculous anime. I did get into it though. I did get into it. My Hero Academia, never really got into it. I do not like Attack on Titan. Too much death. Way too much just people dying all the fucking time. I'm not a big horror person. I don't like horror at all. I hate horror. Elfen Lied, it's an older anime, and I did kind of like it. I mean, it's not in my top 10. Yes, I did watch Sons of Anarchy, and I lost interest in it when Jax went dark. Because he was supposed to be the hero. He was supposed to be the good guy that fixed the club. I didn't like it after he went dark. Clendad? Yes, I've watched Clendad. Cowboy Bebop is really good. Samurai Champloo was really good. I liked the Big O. The Big O was good too. Please keep your God out of this conversation. It's fine that you believe God. It's not okay for you to try to shove that into other people's faces. High School DxD was good. I like that anime as well. Umbrella Academy? No, I haven't watched Umbrella Academy. I don't have Netflix or Hulu right now because I'm broke. Worst anime I've ever watched? Fucking Neon Evangelion. Swear to God, one of the worst fucking animes I've ever watched. I hate that fucking anime. Boruto? Sure. If there's nothing else on, I'll watch it. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Yes, I love that anime. It was a really good one. I forgot about that one. Shield Hero is pretty good. The Vinland Saga is pretty good. I've watched so many fucking animes, dude. I've actually, there's animes that I loved that I've forgotten existed. Assassination Classroom is fantastic. I love that anime. But right now, my all-time favorite is Aria Fruta. My second all-time favorite is That Time I Reincarnated as a Slime. My third all-time favorite is... Oh, shit. God damn it. Fuck. It's just like, it's there and then it's gone. It's there and then it's gone. Banished from the Hero's Party. Those are my three top favorites. I've seen Psycho-Pass. I wasn't into it. Ren and Stimpy is garbage. Mob Psycho wasn't that good. Favorite food? Steak and potatoes. Never got into JoJo. JoJo just never did it for me. Oh, here's some more. Okay, so I love anime. BL, boy love animes. So Junjo Romantica, Sekai Ichi Hatakoi, Love Stage. There's a new one called Sasaki to Miyano. And then there's another one, Dekarite, I think is how it's pronounced. I love boy love romance or boy romance anime. Love that shit. I eat it up. That's like my favorite genre of anime is boy love. I wish they did girl love animes the same way they do boy love animes, man, because I would like the LGBTQ represented in that, and it would be awesome if you could find a love story that was like similar to how they authored Junjo Romantica. I found some manga that were really good girl love animes or girl love mangas, but I didn't get into Sailor Moon too much. Citrus is weird. It's not really a girl love anime. It's like a sisterly love anime in an incestuous way. It's a weird fucking anime. One Punch Man was amazing. No, I am not going to fast. Based on my medical issues, if I was to fast and go hungry, I would fucking die from malnutrition. I'm on dialysis, which means I need an overload of protein. I have to eat steak and chicken. Literally, I have to eat steak and chicken to survive. Why Bleach so low on your top 10? Well, I didn't do that order. I didn't do it in order of the ones I liked the most or the least. I just said that those were my top 10. Bleach, I love Bleach. Bleach was an amazing series. I fell in love with it immediately when I started watching it. I wanted them to finish it. I wanted them to take that anime all the way through the manga. I wish they'd bring it back. Did you watch Angels of Death? Not sure. I don't know if I have or not. I love Bleach. Bleach was awesome. Final arc is getting animated. That's what I heard. I heard a rumor that the final arc of Bleach was getting animated. And it just follows like the last major storyline of Ichigo up to the end. But I read all of the mangas. Seven Deadly Sins is really good. I like that one. Dragon Ball Z is it's Dragon Ball Z. We all like it for various reasons, but it's not like our favorite. Castlevania was good. But Your Lie in April, that one was like an emotional fucking roller coaster ride. That shit fucking killed me. Code Gaius, not really. I didn't really get into that one. Certain Magical Index, I didn't really get into it. No, Shaky, I'm not doing that. It will fucking put me in the hospital. And you shouldn't be doing it either. Your body requires nutrients to survive. Starving yourself from food is bad for you. I don't know what person convinced you that that was a good idea, but it's not. Violet Evergarden. I don't know if I've watched that one yet. Enough, Shaky. Keep your pseudoscience bullshit to yourself. Nana. That's a good one. Nana. I love Nana. Nana was a good one. Hajime no Ippo was also a really good one. I love Hajime no Ippo. The Devil is a part-timer. Yes, that was a funny anime. I like that one. I loved Nana. Nana was one of my all-time favorite animes. I forgot about that one. The Great Pretender? Yeah, I watched a few episodes. I never really got into it. Kakiguri? No, I didn't get into that one at all either. Death Note, I've watched. I wasn't impressed. It's not as good as people say it is. Dr. Stone's next season? I like it, but man, I don't know what it is about that one that irritates me. Kakiguri spells really good. Huh? Yeah, Light lost his shit, man. Like, he went all off the fucking rails and shit. Like, he could have done that so much more smart than he did, and he just fucked it up, man. Like, given that opportunity, I can't say I have the moral wherewithal to not fall into that, right? Like, I think a lot of humans would fall into it, but I would do it smarter than the way Light did it. Light fucked up. Oh, yeah, Light got greedy. I never got into Berserk or JoJo. No, Revengers, no. I've watched Berserk. I just wasn't into it. Yes, I am a Satanist. I'm a member of the Satanic Temple. I don't do manga very often. I have to be very, 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 very bored to watch manga. I'm just watching. Somebody's forging a spear out of a piece of rusted chain. Thought it was interesting. I kind of like these forging videos you catch on YouTube. If I had my own place out in the country, I would do metalwork as a hobby. I'd make knives and shit for fun. I do play video games, but right now I just don't have any interest in it. You know, I'm tired of playing COD, tired of playing Battlefield, or not Battlefield, but Player Unknown. I'm just tired of it. You know, it's not that entertaining. I do want the new Battlefield 2042, but I'm just kind of tired of playing video games. I've spent so much time doing it that I'm not a fan of it anymore. Well, and you add to that the fact that everything is fucking multiplayer all the fucking time. There's no real good fucking campaigns anymore. It's like, what's the point of even playing anymore? I mean, you know, to be honest, I wanted the new Xbox, but they don't even have any fucking available, and I can't even afford it anyway. I would have bought the new video game Battlefield 2042, but I just can't spend money
Most
on it.
name brand bars and body washes you rub on your skin are classified by the FDA as synthetic detergent.
I'm just watching a dude make a he's hand forging a spear. He's going all the way down to 1500 grit. Holy shit. He's going to polish the fuck out of this thing. Asura's Wrath. Yeah, I've heard of it. Well, that's really pretty. He did a fucking fantastic job. Holy shit. This guy is masterclass. He went X Games mode. Jesus Christ, this guy went fucking full nuts with this thing. No, you did a really, really good job. Looks amazing. Anywho, we're going to restart the live. So I want everybody to come back in. We're going to restart the live right now, and we're going to kind of refresh this and see if we can't keep going.